greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting intrusive to the show. That they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
As they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.
Ooh, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to hashtag DMDMW, Dave Meltzer, dumb moment of the week. I am your host, Phil Marks. Make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, heart, retweet, 5 stars, wherever you're watching or listening to this. Send us to the moon. And yeah, thank you all for being here. Make sure, you guys are subscribed to the channels and all of that. Make sure you add the audio version of this to your podcast players and all of that good stuff. Today, we have a show, and it's a very special Friday edition of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. You know, it's the holiday season. We were doing some festive, Christmassy activities there. And so, yeah, we just moved it till Friday. It's all good. You guys are still going to get your dose of Dummy Dave. This week, man, we have Bryan Alvarez getting completely owned by John Cena just today about some lies he had about John Cena's final match and WWE in general. Bad Bunny fail. The reason that's in the title is because we have a character limit here. And yeah, basically Dave Meltzer flip-flopped on Bad Bunny once again. You can tell he's trying to be subtle about it, and he's trying to use it as a bragging tool, but he can't because it's something he buried in the past. And he glazes the shit out of AEW Dynamite. Winter is coming. So I appreciate you guys so much for being here. It's at a weird time, but we're doing the damn thing. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment, and it turned into its own podcast and live stream, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. Probably minimal on the bass take. I think we're at minimal bass takes here. So I like to start things off with star ratings, okay? And we're going to start with star ratings, and then we're going to kind of circle back to star ratings. So last week, this is actually a while ago. This is a full-blown week ago. TMDK versus Shota Yuya in Japan got 4 3/4 stars. Claudio versus Guerrero and CMLL got 4.5 stars. Fletcher versus Knight in the Continental Classic got 4.5 stars. We're going to circle back to Fletcher in a bit. Okada versus Pac got 4.25 stars. Claudio versus Moxley again got 4 stars. So Claudio getting 2 4-star matches in a week. And then the Hardcore Holiday Death Match, 3.5 stars. Insane glazing. Okay. And it's not just with AEW, you know, Dave, I think he rates WWE matches poorly as well. I think he rates it way too high. And I think that he's doing, because, okay, a long time ago on PWT, when Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week was just a segment on PWT Live Show and podcast, right? He said that he would do like these social experiments and not tell anybody, where he'd put out essentially like false information or false ratings or false whatever the fuck, like star ratings or whatever, to see how people would react to them and things like this, right? And I think Dave is like overly giving, like, I don't think he really liked this match 4.25 stars. And I think he's doing this to try and shield himself from how high, because he's realizing, or maybe not realizing, but it's the same way he just slowly kind of is talking about the 25 to 52 demo or whatever that other fucking key demo is. It's also stupid, man. But he's sort of moving away from the 18 to 49 and all this shit. It's the same with these WWE ratings. Like, I've been critical of his WWE ratings too. Like, I don't know if this War Games was a 4.25 stars, man. I don't know. Like, when you're talking 4.25 stars, that means like the best match, one of the best matches that ever happened, And so I just think he's full of shit with these WWE ones too. And I'm not saying, we can't enjoy shit, but again, just listen to Jim Cornette's breakdown of the 5-star system and like when he invented it, what it was supposed, like 3, if he gave this match a 3, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, But the fact that he's going so high on some of these matches, like LA Knight and Gunther, he rated so fucking high. And like, I love, guys know I love Walter and I love LA Knight, but even I'm like, dude, these ratings are ridiculous. And I think on the WWE side, he's trying to, because they don't matter. This is the thing, they don't matter. But the problem is that Dave will condescend you when you say they don't matter. He will claim they're objective and it's based on how the crowds moved and all this shit. There's no clear cut definitive way. I think he's just doing this to make it like, because he has to admit, well, they're selling lots of tickets, so obviously what WWE's doing is, so these matches are just like really great, but then you'll sit there and call everyone pre-programmed in WWE and shit. And I think that his ratings across the board are too high. Period, point blank. WWE, AEW, doesn't matter. So Solo versus Gunther, he gave 4.25 stars. Like, man. He gave The Rock and Hulk Hogan at 18, I think 3.25 or 3.75 stars, if I'm not mistaken. So how the fuck was Solo and Gunther? And like, I like Solo versus Gunther. Some people clown on you, boy Phil, for liking Gunther. People are like, he's generic. It's just too old school. It's bland, blah, blah, blah. I get comments like that when I glaze Gunther, but it's like, even I'm not sitting here going 4.25. And I've been the biggest Solo defender too. When he was main eventing every Raw and SmackDown for like a year, I was defending him through and through. But even I'm like 4.25, bro. One of the greatest matches of all time, So it's obscene. I just think he needs to he doesn't need to. I like laughing at these. And so just a few more star ratings here, I think we have like 1 or 2 more, and then we'll get into the main one that you all know about already, I'm sure. Here. So here's the ratings from Winter is Coming. And Dave Meltzer was coming, dude. That's for goddamn sure. Meltzer was coming all this entire winter.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
He got fat material for the entire winter. So Samoa Joe versus Eddie Kingston, 4.25. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like we were watching it. I was locked in. It was Wednesday. I was putting over, this will be a good match. This will be a good match. And we were all just kind of like, sorry, guys. And I think I even apologized. Like, sorry, guys, for gassing this Joe versus Kingston matchup, So 4.25, like, holy man. So that's as good as Gunther and Solo. I don't think Joe Kingston was as good as Gunther Solo, and I don't even think Gunther Solo was 4.25. And I liked the Gunther Solo match, Hangman Page and Swerve versus Hobbs and Shibata, 3.5 stars. It just seems so high. Okada versus Perry, 4.5. Willow and Harley Cameron versus Tony Storm and Mina, a 4. And then Dave Meltzer, he gave Mike Bailey, it broke the Richter scale. Mike Bailey versus Kyle Fletcher from AEW Dynamite. Winner is coming. A 5.25 star rating.
Are you sure about that?
5 point, like, okay, again, we were watching the match. It was crazy. JJ Alexander was here. This is actually on PWT live show every Wednesday and Saturday. This is Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week, but you guys get what I'm getting at. We're watching the show live on the channel, okay? And the match was like pretty good, I guess, but then it just started going too long. Then they kicked out of each other's shit for like 2 minutes straight. It was just them kicking out of all the rankest shit ever. And then it was a roll-up package win, or like this pretzel win here. It didn't get anyone over. It's just cage match and Dave. It just got over with cage match and Dave. And everyone was like, oh man, not even on a pay-per-view and all this shit. And it's like, thank God it wasn't on a pay-per-view, because it stood out for that reason. If it was on a pay-per-view, bro, people would have been sleeping by the time that match happened. But the problem is, like, we've seen Fletcher have that same match with a bunch of people now. Hangman, maybe not a roll-up finish, but like he's had the match now 100,000 times where he just is kicked out of every fucking thing, and then he just loses to a roll-up. So like, you just buried each other's shit. It doesn't get you over the way that like uber sickos think it does. And like, was that cool? I mean, sure, but then we're talking about Okada and Perry had a 4.5, one of the greatest matches of all time, on the same card as Joe and Kingston, one of the greatest matches of all time, on the same card as Willow and Cameron and Tony and Shirakawa, one of the greatest matches of all time. And then this was one of the greatest match of all time since Okada Omega. Like, bro, I just don't know. I think this is a fucking senile old man. And when you see these accounts like Dave Meltzer fucking rates it 5 stars or whatever, it's so cringe. It's so cringe, and it just doesn't help. Okay, it's not helping. This isn't helping. And then like falsely inflating WWE match ratings isn't helping either, you know? So across the board, I think his ratings are way too high. And was that match? I mean, again, it's all subjective. But if I said that to Dave, he'd be like, actually, no, it's objective. I meant to say it's all subjective, right? Doesn't really matter like what we all think about whatever. We all like different shit. But like, there is some objectivity to pro wrestling. You have to admit, like, you can't, like, you can sit there and say my favorite match ever was Candice Michelle versus Jackie Gata or whatever. What is that infamously terrible match that Jackie Gata, I think her name was a part of it? I think it was with Candice Michelle. And it's like, you can say that's your favorite match, and it might honestly be your favorite match, but objectively, I think we can all agree it's not the greatest match of all time. And when Fletcher and Bailey, what they did, like, it was incredibly physical, and athletic, but I think the finish was bad. And it went too long, man. And that can be a thing. Like, yes, there are great 60-minute matches, but just because the match goes like, 30 minutes and they fucking kick out of every single, and you see every single thing ever, does that make it the best match? I don't know. I think that's like move corn, in my opinion. And maybe I'm just an old head. I don't think I am, I'm in my early 30s, dude. I don't think I'm just an old man shaking my fist. It's like, these are blown out of proportion here a bit. And then Gunther versus LA Knight, he gave 4.25. So Gunther versus LA Knight, I think I like that better than Joe Kingston as well. And Joe Kingston was the same rating. So I just don't know how and then it's like the size of the crowds and all of these sorts of things as well. Like, does that not factor in? Like, the last time is now tournament, does that not mean more than the C2 to win to be John Cena's final opponent? And again, that's in the eye of the beholder, but it's interesting. I would just love for Dave to like break it down, but he knows he can't, right? It's just him. It's just his opinion. I like this better, but then he'll just argue that's not what it is. So we have to roast him for it, folks, until he will just say, I'm just making it all up as I go along, right? He just needs to say it, and then we'll relent. So speaking of winter's coming and the Fletcher Bailey match, we'll get to that. But first, Dave Meltzer glazes Okada and Jack Perry a little bit. And they are together.
Okada was fantastic in this match. There's certain aspects of being a pro wrestler, between the facials and the timing and knowing what to do and everything like that.
And here's my problem with AEW sometimes too, like what the fans do. So like LA Knight will run, jump up the rope, slip, and then like save it, and then whatever. Or like when Theory and Orton are doing like a superplex, and then fucking they slip, and then one dude saves it, then they hit the move, and then people are like, it's unsafe, this is bullshit, they botched, they need a pay. And then in AEW, it's like Jack Perry did that Danielson like backflip off the buckle or whatever, and he slipped, and he saved it kind of, but he wiped out pretty good. He saved it. It was all good. He hit the move, but then the sickos glaze it. And it's like, you can't tell me that's not bottish activity to then be like, oh, this sick save or whatever. It's just, it's madness. And I don't even care. Like, I'm not trying to say roast Jack Perry for slipping a little bit. It's just weird how they all fucking take this clear, like would end up on Botchamania normally, and probably did or will. And then it's they'll try and spin it, the Dave Meltzer spin, into like, oh, he saved this move. How amazing that he saved this move. And it's like, come on, man, what are we fucking doing here?
That he's the best in the world at. I mean, he's just the best in the world at certain aspects of being a pro wrestler.
Like what? Name them, Dave. Hopefully he names them right here.
He's motivated.
When he's motivated. So this is the problem. In certain aspects of wrestling, he's the best in the world. Why? When he bit a guy to get out of a fucking move, and then it popped the crowd. Oh, and I popped so hard, he's just the best at it. What is he? Name the things that he's the best at still in the world. At one point, I'd argue, yeah, Okada is probably one of the best, like, long match, fucking building to a big moment guys in that era. Nuge. Like, I think you could rank him up there. I think he's awesome too. I think Okada's pay-per-view matches are where he actually like goes in. I think he likes Jack Perry. That's why he gave him a little more here. But again, it's just Dave trying to get over this notion of like, when this guy's motivated, he's awesome. Okay, so I don't know, man. Just if this was a TNA guy or a guy in NXT, Dave would be sitting here going like, oh, he's just not motivated, Bryan. Like, he wouldn't focus on the minority of the time that he's motivated, right? Like, he would, even like Lashley seems motivated as fuck, hasn't lost an ounce of shape. Okada, he doesn't look as toy as he once did, right? No hate. I'm just saying he doesn't look as toy as maybe he did a little while ago, and maybe that's because he's chilling, and he can kind of phone in AEW. Lashley's still rippling, him and Benjamin and shit, but Dave's still sitting there calling them old and whatever. When has Lashley had a botch or a bad match, really, or anything? And Dave is still like, I mean, they just don't want to work. And he focuses on the majority of the time they don't want to work. And that's or like put people over. And that's the notion that's floating around, or the narrative that's out there. And the minority of because they win the majority of the time. And then the minority of the time, Lashley's like losing. So Dave doesn't hyper focus on that. So, but with Okada, because Okada is one of his 5-star merchant guys, the best guy, of course he's going to glaze this. Now, I am just a Dave hater, okay? And so I'm attributing fucking weird motive to his shit because I just dislike him. But it is that, like, Okada overall, the sentiment, if you're gonna say, all I'm saying is that if you're gonna criticize the Herd Syndicate for like not wanting to put people over, even though we've seen them put people over a few times, then I think Dave should be focusing on Okada's not motivated, but he's not. He's only going to point to like, well, here he was really good and here he was good. Sometimes he's good still. That's all I'm saying.
Like that he's the best in the world at. I mean, he's just the best in the world at certain aspects of being a pro wrestler. When he's motivated, and I mean, he was relatively motivated here.
He's been motivated ever since they've been starting this Takeshita feud. Because I think there's that part of him deep down where, you know what? I really don't want to be completely overshadowed by this guy.
Yeah.
This is a totally different Okada now than before that feud.
I don't know, Brian. I think that's a bad take, too. He doesn't want to be overshadowed. Or does he actually care? And he actually looks at Takeshita as someone serious that he... This is the problem, again. Hurt Syndicate, they just don't want to lose. They're just old men who don't want to put people over, Brian. Okada, man, he doesn't want to be overshadowed. He's still the GOAT. Like, no, man, you guys suck. You guys are fucking hacks. It's that it's actually worth Okada going all out for Takeshita, and you know, that's in his mind, but they won't give the same motivation. That's what it is for a lot of wrestlers. Miro, Aleister Black. It's like, well, yeah, if it's worth it, let's fucking go to work. If it like, well, what do you mean Orange Cassidy? You know, like I'm sure Miro had to say that. It's like, what do you mean Orange Cassidy? You know,
started.
Yeah.
So thank
God Jack Perry's gonna beat me. You know, he's like, fuck that shit.
They should keep this feud going for like another 4 years. I actually advocate for that in this case.
Yeah. Okada.
Yeah, I think Okada Takeshita has been like one of the things that I'm mostly interested in AEW right now. And Joe as champ's cool, but like, I don't know. I don't mean to hate on Eddie Kingston, but I was just like, ugh. But it was, you know, Joe was just going to defend, and MJF and Joe is what they're building up to here. I think it's more than obvious. Anyways, more on Winter is Coming. More on Dave coming over Winter is Coming. So he says that this was one of the best episodes of Dynamite ever. And it's funny because Meltzer says this all the time.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I thought that tonight's Dynamite was maybe one of the best shows they've ever done. You know, between that, the tag title match was really good. Okada and Jack Perry was great. Fletcher and, Mike Bailey was one of the 2 or 3 best TV matches they've had all year, maybe the best. And Samoa Joe and Eddie Kingston was a hell of a match. So, I mean, it was like, it was a hell of a show. And
he says this every week about every Dynamite, though.
They announced some big lineups for Saturday and Wednesday as well. So, and did promos for it and everything. I mean, I thought like as a complete show, this was a hell of a complete show. I mean, when you talk about like AEW telling those stories, you know, and it's like, man, all they did was build up matches. They had all kinds of stories, you know, Page and Swerve. The Young Bucks got back with them.
No, that's not a story, bro. This is the thing. It's things happening aren't stories. Okay? So this is the problem, right? Swerve and Hangman and Joe had beef a while ago, right? A little bit, but Joe didn't burn down these guys' houses or hang them with chains or anything. And so Hangman's getting beat up by the ops because Joe and them turned bad or whatever. And then all of a sudden Swerve comes to make the save because, well, it's wrestling and he used to beef with Hangman and Swerve's a good guy. So that's not motivation. That doesn't matter, you know? Swerve has also he's invaded baby cribs. He's not Spider-Man or Batman where it's like, at the scene of the crime, he arrives just in time. You know, he's not doing this because it's like, my city, I will bring vengeance to my city. You know, my city never sleeps, and neither do I, and neither does crime. right? Like, it's not that situation where he's just like there to stop the atrocities against Hangman. Why would he save Hangman? Why? Give me the motivation for that. Oh, there's so much stories. I mean, the C2 and Takeshita and Okada are beefing, but he's defending his title over here, the C2. Like, what are you talking about? Fuck you talking about? Kingston and Joe, yeah, they had a match, but Kingston just showed up, talked shit for like a week or two, and then it was the match. So it was really no build, no fucking. It's just Kingston gets a title match, and we're just short-term booking till MJF gets back. Okay. It was a decent little television program there that they had, I guess. And maybe it'll continue a little bit until MJF's fully back, but I don't think people are clamoring for it. Again, the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship. Maybe there's some story with Tony and Mina. They're both like groveling because Blake Monroe left them both, I guess. So now Mina's just doing what Tony's doing, and they want to win the tag titles because Tony Khan introduced tag titles. Other than that, what's the real story? Oh, well, Harley Cameron had her first match against Willow. Okay. How is that a fucking story? Like there's no, I'm angry at you because you stole my friend, so now I do this. My motivation is this. My goal is this, but now my goal's deterred because I'm whatever. It's just like Hangman and Swerve are teaming up to beat up Joe's flunkies so they can get a shot at the tag titles or get a shot at the trios titles with Eddie Kingston and Joe involved, and then all of a sudden Kingston goes and fights Shibata with Swerve while Hangman gets a shot at the belt again. Like that's just random shit happening. That's just universe mode putting matches together, and then nothing of substance coming, nothing changing, nothing mattering. I don't know. Am I just being a hater? Am I just jaded because it's been so bad for so long? I don't know.
Mega, obviously, AEW often has great matches on TV, but they had more great matches on this show than all but a few. And like I said, the top three were just top four were awesome.
The top three, top four, there's fucking 5 matches on the card. So all of them were just the top 4, especially. So just every match but the girls one, Dave, was just spectacular. Is that what you're saying? Like, what are you even saying?
Actually,
he's just babbling out of his ass. He's not really thinking this through. Okay? It's just absolute glaze. And we know why it happens. Okay? So Jeff Lane was kind enough to post this video here. And it is of Dave Meltzer. Well, here, let's listen to Fletcher, his rant on Fletcher Bailey in particular. And then we'll circle to Dave just stooging more and more that he receives phone calls and Tony's making promises to Dave Meltzer and all of this sort of shit.
Frickin' that Kyle Fletcher match with Mike Bailey. My God, that's one of the best TV matches of the year.
You know what it was? That match was both the most preposterous match and also the greatest match at the same time. But as awesome as that match
was the most preposterous and greatest at the same time. Now, I suppose I guess you could maybe say like Cena versus AJ Styles was like that. They were just hitting fucking other people's moves and shit. And then, so maybe that's kind of preposterous, but maybe that's not even the right word to use, So I guess both things could be true, Brian.
And it probably was.
But typically, if something's so preposterous, like if it's preposterous, then how is it the greatest match then? Then you're saying it doesn't make sense. Like, let's get the official preposterous definition. Just get like the contrary to reason or common sense, utterly absurd or ridiculous. So I guess, yeah, it's like, oh, that's sick, dude. He's just saying it in that way. right? An expression.
The best AEW television match of the entire year.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Will Ospreay had a match with Takeshi on TV earlier.
I don't know,
year.
man. This
they
match was insane.
That match was insane too.
But the point is,
Dave.
I mean, we were just talking the other day about how we know we have no matches announced for the Continental Classic because Tony needs to find out who's healthy and who's not.
Right.
You want to fucking know why? Watch that match. Oh my God.
And they're just laughing about it. They just, everybody they just laugh at the fact Tony pays dudes to go film movies, sit at home, go to school, or get hurt and sit at home. And they just all laugh and, oh, isn't it great? It's awesome. Fucking crazy, dude. It's like the upside down. I need the fucking Stranger Things music on here, dude. It's crazy.
Oh, the thing is,
if these guys wrestle again in the tournament, I'll be like, wow, that's incredible.
Okay, but here's the thing, and this is the mentality. It's like those two guys, if you took out, like,
I'll be like,
every
wow,
dangerous spot that
guys.
they did, really dangerous. Like, then there's only really
the body slam on the edge of the barricade.
No, that was probably the most dangerous.
I don't think we needed that one. It still would have been incredible.
Okay, but the point is, if you took every one of those spots out, every dangerous spot out, that would be an incredible match, and we would still be talking about it. These guys.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point.
The point
we don't need to kill each other, especially in a tournament.
You
have to continue. We've already lost Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Darby
and Jack Perry, by the way. So Jack Perry was injured, replacing Darby Allin in the tournament in that match with Okada. So again, man, this is the proof right here as to why shit's fucked up in AEW. You can't wrestle this way all the time for Dave Meltzer and Tony Khan. Tony's doing it for Dave. We have proof as well. I'm about to play you the proof. You know, what Bryan and Dave put over, what these cage match guys put over, like, they don't actually care about the longevity of pro wrestlers themselves, the longevity of the fucking company, the longevity of the future of the sport or the sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. And maybe I just am ass backwards, but I glaze WWE the most for what they're doing for the future of pro wrestling currently. And like how they've invested so much time and energy and money and resources to developing the future. And I don't know, man. There's AEW. It's just a fed of people who are like, let's just push it to the limit, try and impress Meltzer and Tony so he gives us more money. And the internet smarks. We get our dopamine. We're making shitloads of money to just car crash wreck ourselves, which, I mean, in a way, that is what all sports are. You know, you're getting paid a shitload of money to entertain people and run your body down. But at the same time, is this leaving the business better? And I'm not saying don't do the dangerous spots. I'm not saying Jeff Hardy shouldn't do swantons off Titantrons in moments that live in infamy or whatever. But when you throw it all at the wall all the time, every pay-per-view, every Dynamite, every show is 5-star, 4-star matches, what is left to do? Like, you've hot shot burnt the fucking company out. And when people go, this is what's better than moments and all this shit, no, because these two guys took years off their lives, possibly, and might hurt themselves and fuck up Tony Khan's TV for the next few weeks, and no one will remember shit. He just said, oh, the scoop slam spot. This is what Dave literally said to describe it. Oh, all the dangerous spots they did. And then Bryan goes, and the scoop slam spot on the apron? And Dave's like, well, that was the most dangerous. That instantly, no one remembers it. They can't even name shit other than, oh, the scoop slam on the thing. Yeah, that was really all the dangerous shit they did. You can use that to describe like 80% of AEW matches, dude. All the dangerous shit they did. Now, imagine there's a John Cena match and you're like, dude, the dangerous shit they did. It's like, okay, you remember when Edge got fucking FU'd out off the ladder, out of the ring, to the floor. That's why it means more, because it's like a movie. Like, we remember that shit. We remember when Sabu went flying through John Cena through the table, because who would have ever thunk we'd ever see that? Sabu doing the fucking Arabian press off the rope in a WWE ring through Cena through a table. When Cactus Jack and Edge lit the table on fire at Mania, you remember that. You remember Mick Foley getting thrown off the cell, and even then, too, he gets choke slammed through the fucking cage. You remember that as well. You don't really even remember the thumbtacks, and Foley's all KO'd. We got to get to that. People don't even remember that. Was there thumbtacks in that shit? Yes, there was. And people don't even remember it a lot of the time. If you're not like, if you're just talking to someone who isn't like locked into pro wrestling the way I'm sure we all are here in chat, and those of you listening and watching at home, like, we probably remember, we're sickos and wackos, right? But like the average person who, like, most people know, like, remember when Mankind got thrown, they might not remember thumbtacks and shit. And that's what the moments are, man. Like, what from this do you extrapolate? The win was a roll-up. You know? People are going to remember the roll-up and then Fletcher selling, like, shocked and embarrassment that he got beat. But, like, no. You should be in a neck brace after all this shit. And that's what none of it matters ultimately in the end. Other than a bunch of redacts are going to, and sickos who are going to glaze this shit anyways, are going to Google it online and see Dave Meltzer. In 20 years, they go, oh man, Dave Meltzer gave this 5 stars. And then if you watch just the match isolated, maybe you enjoy it. Maybe you're like, that's dumb. Why did it end in a fucking roll-up? You know? And it's not like it ended in a roll-up in a match where it's like Eddie and Ray, where Eddie's like at Halloween Havoc or whatever, where Eddie's hitting fucking Ray with everything, but Ray's the littler guy in that cruiserweight scenario, for instance. Like Bailey and Fletcher, like Bailey's the smaller guy, I guess, but they're both like, they look like they could be fighting each other in a wrestling match, So it's not like the roll-up worked psychologically in a way that benefited either of them either. It's just like Fletcher got rolled up. Okay, so all that shit he did to Bailey meant nothing. All that shit Bailey did to him really meant nothing. It's not like, oh, well, Bailey's the littler guy and he just like sniped a roll-up after, kind of getting cut off and beat up by the bigger guy or anything like that. Like, there is no, I don't know, man. That's the psychology in wrestling that is missing. Like, you can just do spots, but like, it's got to mean something, man. It's got to mean something. And this, at the end of the day, meant 3 points on the board for Bailey, who hasn't won a match yet in this tournament. And people getting hurt. And this tournament might not being able to be fleshed out the way that Tony Khan had originally planned, like everything else in the company. So, I don't know. Incredibly unfortunate. And then when you have Dave sitting there glazing it, it's embarrassing. And so Jeff Lane was kind enough to post this clip, and this is exactly why this shit happens, man. So Tony Khan calling Dave.
Tony Khan.
Dave, Dax coming to Dave's rescue, which we're going to talk about a little bit. And, Dave, and I pointed this out when nobody else pointed it out. Dave Meltzer said that he pushed for them not to have a bleed over on that pay-per-view, to where the pre-show bleeds over to the pay-per-view. And then what did AEW do? Hotshot book that, so that's already done. They did it twice in a row. Dumb fucks. But Dave said he pushed for that. Well, who's he texting then? Dax? That was Dax's match. So he's talking to Tony on the phone and Dax, and he's pushing and pitching ideas. And in 2019, Tony Khan called Dave Meltzer after Meltzer buried Dynamite to tell him, we're going to make it better. Ever since, they've been writing a show for the most uncool person on the planet as the fan base dwindles. And this is proof in the pudding, man. Dave thinks he's helping AEW when he sits here and goes, this guy called me to say, we'll make it better. So ever since 2019, you mean when Dynamite was hitting? Tony Khan got disapproval from Dave, who doesn't know a single fucking thing about television, how television works, how to book a wrestling show, how to book a wrestling show for television. He doesn't know anything about this
poor
shit.
people don't like AEW.
And Tony, even in 2019, was fucking calling him, "We'll make it better, I swear. I swear, Daddy. Please. Just give us the stars." Like, they're cooked, man. This is why they're cooked. And anyone denying this or sweeping for Dave, they're just like a dumb person being taken advantage of. Like, they really are. It's just what it is, and I feel bad.
When they did a really bad episode of Dynamite, and I went off, I remember going off on it.
And listen to Dave, when they did a really bad episode in 2019, when they were still doing their peak ratings, doing 1 million or around 1 million, and Dave was, "I went off on this bad." Yeah, I know you hated those old shows because they were actually good and they weren't being booked the way you fucking wanted. And ever since they've been booking the way you want, Dave, and you've been pushing ideas, and Tony's calling you on the phone, and then Bryan sits there and goes, "Don't you want him to call him on the phone?" No, you fucking marks. They're shit, terrible ideas. Yeah, let's bury the wrestling shows everybody's watching and everybody thinks are the fucking best, and let's glaze the ones that nobody likes. Like, you guys are fucking redacts, and Dave is sitting here copping to it. Like, yeah, I hated on the show when it used to be good and they had all the momentum behind them. Now Tony's been booking for me and the company's been tanking. Dave doesn't have an investment. He just has Tony Khan, who fucking glazes him to death, and then the mark-ass wrestlers from PWG who fucking were marks for themselves and marks for Dave Meltzer's, and doing a Dave Meltzer chants and shit at PWG shows and pointing to Dave when he's in the crowd at PWG shows. That's all it is. And they think, and they thought then, because they saw those indie, shindy fucking crowds, we could take this and make it this fucking big thing. And that's why serious people like Punk and Cody Rhodes, they left the company. Even though, and Jericho's leaving too. Maybe not permanently. He's leaving for his final fucking key years where he can stay in shape and draw. Or help add. I mean, WWE's drawn with or without Jericho, but people will go nuts for him when he comes back. And even any serious person understands, like, okay, there's levels to the shit. We thought we could take it to this whole other level. It's not working because they're booking for Dave.
And he calls me the next day, and I go, "Oh man, he's going to be so mad at me." You know what I mean?
Can you imagine, Jeff? Can you imagine you one time in your life on this planet saying, "Oh God, Tony Khan's going to be so mad at me"? Can you imagine?
It's insane. And shout out Vince Russo and the Brand and Jeff Lane. It's fucking nuts, dude. I can't imagine that at all, being worried about Tony Khan. The guy said he feared for his life after a desk got bumped. I unplugged my microphone bumping my desk harder, speaking passionately than Punk did when he wobbled the desk when he fought Jack Perry or got him in a front face lock or whatever, And Tony Khan's sitting there going, "I feared for my life." Why the fuck would you?
I'm worried because Tony Khan's going to be mad at me. Can you imagine?
We have disagreements like I do with everyone, right? But he wasn't at all, and it just was like, basically, I appreciate what you said.
See, Dave's a dumbass. He thinks he's getting Tony over by saying this. Well, he listens to my advice, and now look, they're in the toilet,
And we're going to make it better. Mm-hmm. And 2 weeks later, he had a great TV show, and he, it did get better.
Crazy, man.
So Tony is hearing this bad review of Dynamite, and he's calling Dave to tell him we're going to get better.
Yeah.
Like he's reassuring him that his review is accurate.
I believe
that too, 100%.
Yeah.
So it's just like all the speculation, all the shit talking I've been doing this whole time, and many of us have been doing, has all been right, dude. I don't know why I hit an X-Files. I meant to... all the shit we've been saying is right, though. This whole fucking time. And so where's Dave Meltzer now retracting and going, he is booking for me. And it is like, he's just such a lying con artist grifter. And so is Bryan Alvarez. So is Bryan. Because he sits there, he knows this shit. And then he still tries to pretend as though you can critique it on a level other than, like, imagine if, JCW, they're booking for Vince Russo. He's writing the show. Boom. TNA, they're booking for Carlos Silva, and they're booking for WWE right now. Boom. Tony Khan's booking for Dave Meltzer. Everyone just admit that already. Jesus Christ.
But that's the point. Tony is actually picking up the phone because he cares about impressing this guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about, don't you want him to talk to the journalists? No, because he's not talking to Dave for journalistic purposes. He's talking to Dave because he thinks Dave knows what good wrestling is.
Yeah,
because he's a rich kid who could afford the Observer. Daddy, Papa, can you please buy me the Observer? And then his dad's like, I buy you Observer forever. I buy you 5 copies forever. Right? And little Tone, man, little Steamboat Tone on Christmas, waking up, getting his Observers. He gets copies, was throwing them in the air. It's Christmas. Right, dude? And he's been getting these things since he's a kid. So he thinks that, Dave is the guy who understands wrestling. He just doesn't understand, man.
Get it right for you, Dave. And this was in 2019. And what has happened since then? They've done everything they could to make it right for Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely 1000%.
Well, no, I hired Hurt Syndicate and he doesn't really like that.
When they did that.
Yeah, because you're a money mark, bro. Because you let MVP, and no, if I'm all for it. I'm all for everyone getting their TK bucks, but you let him talk you into signing all these guys. You're a fucking money mark. They marked you in for money, bud. That's what happened. I mean, you can fucking cope over that whichever way you want to, but that's what went down. So, speaking of going down here, and just to connect some loose dots here, I don't even know what I'm saying, right? Just to connect some dots that I've been placing here to circle back. And we covered this on PWT Live Show every Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Saturday. I'm a hack. I'm off. It's Friday. I don't usually stream today, okay? That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Every Wednesday and Saturday, we talked about how Dax swept for Meltzer there. So again, Dax FTR had this to say while arguing with Matt Hardy. I'm not going to go over all the Matt Hardy shit, but Dax had this to say. I think calling Dave a moron is insane. He's probably wrestling's most accurate historian. While I may not agree with some of his star ratings, that doesn't mean he's wrong. That means he has a different opinion than I do, which is absolutely okay because it helps me feed my family. To me, Brainbusters vs. Heart Foundation, SummerSlam 89 is a 5-star tag match. To Dave, it's a 2. Who's wrong? Who's right? Who gives a fuck? As long as we all enjoy wrestling and feeding our families. And then so I responded to this and I was like, no, Dax, Dave will condescend you and argue with you if you say it's just his opinion stars. He claims they are objective and that he's never wrong. Dave is wrong. He is dumb. He's a shill. Your boss phones him and he pitches ideas. He said as much openly. The most accurate historian until the internet. The last 30 years have passed him by, and his bullshit from the previous 30 has been exposed. Sweeping for TK Bucks is fine. That's your boss. Sweeping for Meltzer in 2025 is a lol cow activity. Boom, roasted. Okay? And so it's funny, though, because neckbeards, dude, pulls his car, wrestling neckbeard TM. There you go. Is this another parody or what? There's parodies of there's WWE neckbeards now and shit, so I don't know, whatever. So Dax says this is what he had to say about Dave Meltzer in the past. So he gets his card pulled. Ryan, I don't give a fuck about you, Heat, go away, Heat, face heel, or any other pro wrestling phrases you read from dipshit Dave Meltzer. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So, Dax, you're a glazer. Dax, you're a Nikki Glazer, buddy.
Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar.
So you fucking said that shit when it benefited you, and then you give up your podcast sign with Tony Khan for 7 years and fucking and then start sweeping for Dave when it benefits you. Okay. So face, heel, or any other pro wrestling phrases you read from dipshit Dave Meltzer. I do. So what did he say? What did he say over here? I think calling Dave a moron is insane. He's the most accurate historian. So you just called him dipshit Dave. So you're insane. Okay, got it. I do what's best for the FTR brand and my family. I took his mask off because I knew people would talk. All these tag teams follow our lead because they want to make money to feed their families. Some of y'all can tweet about Uncle Meltzer's star rating. I'll tweet about the ratings that actually make money to feed your family. So again, dude, all you little assholes tell me right now what Kenta Kobashi match to watch on YouTube. I do not want to hear from Dave Meltzer, though. He doesn't feed my family. Now he feeds, and then look at this. He's the guy that all the boys look to now when they're putting their great, quote-unquote, great matches together. So roasting Dave openly when it helped him and when he was down with, Jim Cornette and all that shit. Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom. And then now he's just
sometimes in life you gotta be a hoe.
Right? What would Kenny Omega call that? Shaking it on doing the splits on the fucking Dax doing the splits for WBD Netflix Paramount merger or what? for that TBS Sports or what, buddy? No. What did Kenny say again? Doing the splits for TK on the TKO poll or whatever. So what is this? What would you call this, Kenny? Is this Dax doing the splits on that fucking TK poll or what? Damn, dude, that was a great find from AEW Neckbeards there, man. Shout him out big time. Speaking of shout outs, guys, let me take you over here because this is a shoot. Oh, come on now, Phil, you're going to shill us something? I actually am, guys. I have officially become a NordVPN affiliate. PWT and NordVPN are teaming up. That's right. And you guys put this shit out there in the universe, okay? So I have a link down below. And I told you guys I would never shill you guys something I don't use. NordVPN is the VPN I use. I've used it for years. And yeah, so they have a holiday deal right now. This is legit. And there's a link down below I got for you guys down there. If you use my link, they have a holiday deal, 75% off. So, and then 3 months extra, I think, for their 3-year plan. It's so worth it. Fuck ESPN Plus and Peacock, whatever, and all this shit. All of WWE is on Canadian Netflix, okay? And it's on Canadian YouTube. Netflix might buy WBD, and then AEW is going to be on Canadian Netflix soon enough, okay? So use the link down below. Click that link. And there's a holiday deal right now with NordVPN and 75% off, dude. That's huge. $379 Canadian. That's like $5 a month. And also there's a 30-day money back guarantee. Like if you get Nord and you're like, I don't know if I like this, you can get your money back. They have free trials as well. You can try it, I think, for 14 days a month as well and just see if you like it. It works for multiple devices as well. You can put it on your fucking cell phone. What? Your girl's phone. What? Your Xbox. What? Your MacBook. What? Your work PC. I think it's 10 devices that you can for one thing, for one plan or whatever. So check out NordVPN, okay? Moving along here. So we have, speaking of Netflix and WBD and Paramount and all of these things, Dave Meltzer gives his take on this stuff. Okay, so let's breeze through a few of these because Dave, he doesn't know what the fuck he's really talking about. Other than, he was like, it's all a disaster. And I wouldn't say it's a disaster. I would say it's just business guys doing, they're all indelibly calculated, but it is a disaster as far as like what happens with AEW, as far as like they're just stuck in a weird limbo where WBD doesn't really give a fuck about them. So Netflix and Paramount, why should they be expected to give a fuck about them? And where do they land? Does AEW just go with the Netflix or Paramount shit? Or do they just last minute go, you're on the Discovery Plus thing that we're selling separately? And then what entity floats in and buys that? And that's the thing, hey, Tony Khan and Shad Khan probably have the money. They could buy the Discovery Plus thing and own all that. But then do they want that? And then do they just change it to like AEW Plus? I just don't know if Tone wants to do that, They won't be dead in the water. It'll be a few years until we really know fully what's going to happen with AEW. And again, it's not like they're just dead and cooked, but it's pretty wild that Niccolo Piccolo pretty much laid everything that's been happening. I mean, the guy, he's a good dude, whatever. But I know so many people have been talking about him lately, but it's just like he's been spot on with this shit. But it's because he's passionate about it. If you've talked to him, I've spoken with the man. He's very passionate about, this side of the game and just giving free game to Tone and Dave and shit. I just think Dave should be having Niccolo Piccolo on his show, trying to pull that off instead of like being combative with him and shit.
The one thing that would be a negative to AEW is if Netflix gets it and then Netflix merges those two companies, those two streaming services, because I don't see Netflix wanting AEW on Netflix. I mean, it could happen. I don't see it.
I don't see that either.
For just a lot,
or they do it international, and then because like the UK and Canada and whatnot, and then they would move it like would it go on, because they don't want anything to do with TBS or TNT, so that's just not happening. But on USA Netflix, do they waste the real estate? Raw's exclusive there, so maybe international, they're like, we'll put AEW over there, over here now type thing. I could see them doing something like that, just because the main picture with the Netflix WWE thing is like, okay, Raw every week live on Netflix. Like, I doubt they would muddy that up with AEW as well. They don't even upload like WCW and ECW events on there, even like international yet. They have all the old like WWE ones and shit, but they're not taking up real estate with like, here's our WCW selection, because otherwise, I don't know. That just takes up lots of real estate. This is the same argument I have with people on Twitter and shit. And they're all like, no, every single episode should be available of Raw ever on net. No, it shouldn't. No, that just logistically doesn't make sense. Those episodes will get one view. Okay? There's a reason why these shows are on there, and Netflix goes leaving soon. And like Friends was on Netflix, and then they take their show and make a deal with another street. Like, shit just sitting there to sit there. That's not the move. I'm sorry. That's not what Netflix or any of these streamers are interested in, unless you're like Plex, right? Plex is one of the, I keep putting Plex over. And again, get that NordVPN, guys. Plex in Canada, they just like upload shit to it. I don't even think they have, I'm not trying to blow a Plex's spot here, okay? But like, they're just uploading shit like, how do you guys have all of Stranger Things on here? You guys, how do you have all of Family Guy on here? I thought Disney owned that, right?
A lot of different reasons. But,
But based on the email, the reality is, if this happens, they're not going to remain separate companies forever. But they probably, I would think, would remain separate companies probably through the end of 2027. So I would think that imminently, I don't think there's anything that's going to change whatsoever with AEW.
No. The big thing with AEW is going to be this summer, this coming summer, when it comes to where AEW winds up. If Paramount doesn't buy the company and it does go to Netflix, what's going to happen this summer, probably before this deal ends up going through, is that there will be a split between, the split companies, and AEW will remain on TBS and TNT. And that's
WBD is what Dave's talking about. Dave.
Yeah, dude. Like, Dave, you're giving the worst regurgitated. You're trying to He's trying to not parrot the shit because he reads Nicolo Piccolo's tweets. And he's trying to not say that shit, and he's just mush-brained. And then Bryan has to interrupt him to go, WBD is what he's talking about. And Dave's looking at him like, oh, well, yeah, Bryan, try and keep up.
WBD is splitting
Yes.
into two companies, one on the television end and one on the streaming end.
Right. So they'll keep their television. But the streaming, the question is will they stay on HBO Max for streaming?
No, they're done on that.
Or would they go to...
And then when the numbers stay the same, what's going to be the excuse?
or
when they're lower, when they're not on streaming anymore and the numbers are lower on cable or whatever the fuck. What are they going to say then? I'm so curious.
Basically TBS Sports, whatever the name of the new TBS Sports streaming service will be. So that's the big thing for AEW.
And then if WBD does own a chunk, they can like send it over to the Discovery Plus side or whatever. So I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see. But Dave Meltzer talks about Peacock and WWE here. Let's take a listen to his assessment on this. And again, guys, the link down below, NordVPN, 75% off, okay? And 3 free months if you use that link down there. Just go do like a free trial of it. 30 days money back guarantee. NordVPN. Let's go.
Peacock. What's going on with the library?
Build the shill. Woo! Let's go.
So the library at the end of this month will no longer be on Peacock. And what happens to the library in the United States is...
So the library, everything's going to get uploaded to WWE's YouTube vaults. And I even told you guys a long time ago, like there will be an ECW vault and shit. That'll happen for sure. And everything they own will just pretty much be rolled out on YouTube the way they roll it out on YouTube with the WCW vault and the WWE vault and whatnot. And like, I get it. In a perfect world, in a perfect world, it's just WWE Network and they make so much money off that they don't need to fuck around and give us 12 different places to stream. But we don't live in a perfect world, okay? And they're trying to make those dollars, okay? So that's just not feasible. It just doesn't make sense. And with Netflix, what doesn't make sense is to have a random Raw from 2010 that no one's ever going to watch sitting there getting 1 view every 3 months. It just does not make sense for them to have that taking up space on Netflix and on their servers and on fucking, like how do they promote that to people and shit? They have such limited real estate, as they'd say on the business side of things, right? So it just doesn't make sense to have like WCW Saturday night that no one's gonna watch. Well, I'd watch it. Okay, you selfish, narrow-minded asshole. I get it. Me too. I just rewatched all the Invasion shit. I watched some, I was like Googling, I was looking up fucking random Raws and shit like that. I get it, but I would too. But like, you're the one person. It's one person in like a year's gonna watch this random fucking Shotgun Saturday or whatever the fuck, or Velocity, So no, not every Raw can be on these things. In a perfect world, it would just be WWE Network. But if you're thinking about it, again, just from like, okay, the business aspect, and like, I don't give a fuck about the business. I'm just a consumer. I get that too. Me too. And that's why they're going to give it to you for free on YouTube. And then you just got to watch ads, YouTube ads or whatever. That's why they're going to monetize it so that if it does get 1 click in a month, then they make, and then 4 ads play throughout that show or whatever, they make their 50 cents off you or whatever. You guys get it? Because on Netflix, they don't that way. So that's how it's going down. And it makes the most, it's just like, okay, logically, that makes the most sense. And again, I don't give a fuck about them making a billion more dollars. But at the same time, I'm not going to get triggered over it. And anything you want to find, you can just like Google it. Someone's got it leaked somewhere. Any match, any segment, any show you're looking for is on Dailymotion /YouTube /Vimeo, Rumble, BitChute. There's like a million fucking Odyssey. You can just look at all these sites and I'm sure you can find the matches that you're looking for. If you're like diehard, I need to find this event or whatever. I'm sure they're all somewhere, you know? But yes, I agree. This shit is annoying. That's why I get NordVPN. Use the PWT link below. And yes, I'm shilling the shit out of it because it's such an amazing deal. And yeah, just get a Canadian IP and watch Canadian Netflix and Canadian YouTube. All WWE's right there. Okay, guys? Right there. You don't need ESPN this and to buy the extra pay-per-view and the fucking everything's in Canada, dude. You can blame Canada all you want, but you should thank Canada this holiday season. NordVPN and PWT. Let's go.
Up in the air. I know ESPN has said that they're interested, so it'll probably wind up with ESPN. How much ESPN will put on its service, is, we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of people talking about, Netflix. There's so much stuff Netflix never put up.
And they won't ever put up
nationally, because they have the rights internationally. So you just don't know.
International, they have every fucking show, dude.
But
they don't even put up WWE ECW, because then you got to explain what the fuck is ECW. So they're just like WWE, 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 and it's smart. It makes sense. You can't get mad at that,
But yeah, the Peacock stuff.
But the network did rule. I'm going to be honest. Yes, people are right with that take. The Netflix and Peacock and the ESPN, all that shit is too convoluted and just one destination, but they didn't make as much money off that as they are doing what they're doing now. I ain't mad, as Tupac would say. I ain't mad at you.
I think that if you want to watch, a lot of that old stuff, especially the territorial stuff that's not WWE, the historical stuff, you might want to watch it in the next month, because
YouTube,
there's no guarantee that
Canadian YouTube
gets the deal next will keep all of the stuff, especially the older stuff and the territorial stuff, because I think that somebody new might just say there's no value in this.
What a fucking boomer. Dave's such a boomer. So Dave talks more about AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery. And he talks about what the most important thing for AEW is to do is to peak in 2027. And it's like, Dave, I thought they were peaking. I thought every week you argue that WWE's peak is over and AEW's closing the gap and they are peak. But then all of a sudden he's like, they're rebuilding. And now they're in a rebuild phase again. Once a year, they're in a rebuild phase. And then they need to somehow peak in 27, in the summer of 27, even though I thought they're closing gaps and they're doing better than ever, and there's over 1 million what they're doing SmackDown numbers. It's just such phony baloney bullshit.
If they don't just pick up the option, the negotiations will probably take place early to mid 2027, and we'll see. And it's not like it's the end of the world if they don't get on. I mean, there's going to be other places that they can go. Depending on their popularity level, it's real. And it doesn't even matter whether this thing was going on or not. I said it many times. The most important thing to AEW is to peak in the summer of 2027.
I've said it many times. To who, bro? To who? To Tone? You're texting people shit then going, I've said this many times. No.
That's why I think that, you really want to be building stars that are going to peak in 2027.
Building stars.
Because right now,
what they peak in 27. You guys hear that? It's just so easy to do, and just, yep, he's going to peak in 2020. He's so dumb, man. He just talks about it like it's an e-fed.
Do now it's fine. It's important. It's always important, but 2027 is way more important than 2026 when it comes to.
See, this next year's a wash. This is just bad advice. This is just bad advice. They're going over all the stuff right now. They're crossing T's and dotting lowercase J's right now, buddy. They're going through the books through 26 until we figure out until this deal gets done. And Dave's like, right now, 27's way more important. Holy shit, buddy. Dave, stop listening to Dave. Dave, don't give advice, okay? Brian, you just sit there like a chuckle fuck. Ready, break. Right? Right, guys? That's just fucking a great groan and a sigh, So Dave Meltzer, he talks about the questions there are with the whole Netflix WBD deal and whatnot.
There's way more questions than there are answers right now, and that's not going to change for months, maybe years. You know, it's way too early.
Just read Niccolo Piccolo's tweets, you asshole. He could just read Nick's tweets and go, well, here's a clear expert who's obsessed with this shit, breaking it down. This Niccolo Piccolo guy, I mean, he doesn't really like me, but the truth is the truth. Like,
say anything.
I
mean, you can't say anything
all he needs
whatsoever.
to do.
It's something that's happened. It will have tremendous effect on everything as far as
it'll have tremendous effect on everything. Oh, really? Oh, really, Dave?
as
Great assessment.
you know, the movie business, perhaps. You know,
The movie business, perhaps. It'll have an effect on the movie business, perhaps.
Ryan.
Oh my God, Dave is so sad when he's trying to fucking talk about shit. He just, no, dude, Netflix buying Warner Bros. It'll perhaps have an effect on the movie business, Dave. Great fucking takes, man. Just read Niccolo Piccolo shit and stop pretending you didn't read it and trying to regurgitate it as your own.
That's the thing that people are most worried about, I think, when it comes to Netflix being involved.
That's a real serious story on the movie business. It changes our culture in so many ways. But I mean, as far as the AEW, yeah, you know, this is going to affect AEW. Exactly.
Dave goes to the theater to watch other people and see if they clap and cheer for Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes when they appear in these movies and shit.
Exactly how?
And I'm not joking.
I don't know. It's not going to be. Look, it's business as usual now. It's going to be business as usual till the end of 2027.
So the question that a lot of people are asking is, how does this affect AEW right now?
Right now, nothing.
It's you know, this stuff takes a long time to get approved, and you know, the Ellisons are going to fight it. David Ellison basically wrote a memo to say that this is already unfair, and I'm already being screwed out of this deal.
Dave's such a clown. So moving along here. When it comes to, I think that was all like the Netflix mumbo jumbo. So in other like television rating, other wrestling show news, whatever, right? So as we've chronicled here on PWT, and Dave Meltzer, dumb moment of the week, you know, Dave Meltzer and Eric Bischoff, they have quite the feud going. And Dave Meltzer once said about Conan and Eric Bischoff, he was like, well, if Conan wants to prove him wrong, he's booking AAA. He has the opportunity now if he wants to try and beat Tony Khan. And then he did. AAA's banging right now, doing way better than it was before. And they were already hot, and Conan's doing, you know, outdrawing AEW on YouTube and shit. And then Dave Meltzer's like, oh, well, if Eric Bischoff wants to try his hand and outdraw Tony Khan, he has the opportunity now, Bryan, with RAF, even though it's amateur freestyle wrestling. Like, it's not even similar to pro wrestling really at all. But Dave Meltzer had this to say about Eric Bischoff and his history. And he takes shots at Eric Bischoff. And furthermore, I just want to point out that Eric Bischoff and RAF are doing houses that are like 5,000, whatever, that 4,000, 3,000, whatever. I mean, that's what like fucking Dynamites do, is around 3,000, less than that on average lately. And he is kind of shutting Dave up. And so Dave just copes and seeds, and all he can do is fucking take shots at Bischoff now. He's so mad. And remember, Dave laughed about when they're like, he's like, Conan's not on commentary, and he's whatever. Like they have some award they had an award for Conan, but Dave Fantasy Mark booked, well, something's planned for Conan. Could you imagine if they released him? Haha. And he like laughed about it. And then Conan got some award. And then now Dave is just taking shots at Bischoff. And why? Well, it's because Conan and fucking Bischoff are owning him. and are completely making him eat his fucking words. And shout out RAF, man, putting together amazing wrestling matches with amazing names like Yoel Romero. You have all the, like, Bo Nickel, UFC's working with them and allowing their fighters to go wrestle too, which is traditionally, like, that's something that UFC wouldn't do. I mean, they'd let people compete in BJJ tournaments time and again, but now they have UFC BJJ. But either way, man, here's Dave's take on. I'm not going to get off on a tangent on how cool it is that, like, grappling and, like, karate combat is popping off right now, and, like, bare knuckle boxing, like, all these different martial arts are popping off, and I love it. I fucking love it. There's a resurgence in boxing again. All of these things. And Dave, he just can't handle it. Like, he is so bitter towards Eric Bischoff because Bischoff's been proven right more times than he's been proven wrong, especially when it comes to dusty, dry mouth Dave.
Real American freestyle.
Listen to the words coming out of his real American freestyle. Just real sad.
Announced a show for January 10th in Sunrise, Florida with Luke Rockhold against Colby Covington, which in a sense, I mean, it's funny and it's not funny. I mean, it's actually...
Listen to this. With Colby Covington and Luke Rock, in a sense, I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny. What the fuck are you about to spurg out about, Dave?
Hold against Colby Covington, which in a sense, I mean, it's funny and it's not funny. I mean, it's actually, like, if you look at Eric Bischoff's history.
Look at this, bro. So he goes, RAF? Luke Rockhold versus Colby Covington. Dude, that's huge for amateur wrestling, and Luke Rockhold is known, like, he's an excellent striker. At least he's chinny now, so he just gets fucking touched and he goes down. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I like Luke Rockhold, but he's a tremendous jiu-jitsu player, and it's interesting that he's having, like, an American freestyle Colby Covington, a traditional wrestler, and you have, like, a jiu-jitsu player in Rockhold. It's interesting for sure. And instead of talking about that match and how both of those guys were draws for the UFC, people don't want to see Rockhold get punched out and KO'd in 2 seconds anymore, but they want to see him fucking compete in combat sports, and combat sports are hot again. And instead of fucking talking about that, dude, he's gonna go off about Bischoff tanking companies and shit. Like, Dave is such a cunt, man. He's such a salty cunt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Phil, for having to censor that later when I fucking edit the clip of this. But, like, Jesus Christ, man. It's funny and it's not funny how Dave's gonna not talk about this match and instead bury Eric Bischoff.
You know,
because
poor
AEW,
people don't like AEW.
It's nuts, bro. Here we go.
I mean, what he has always done, he did this. He did this in WCW.
In the 90s, in the late 90s, he did this in a pro wrestling company, and this is 2025, an amateur freestyle wrestling company. Like, the fuck are you talking about? Or is it considered the pros? It's Real American Freestyle Wrestling. Do they consider it like pros? I guess it's not technically pro wrestling. I want to EFAP a documentary with you guys from MMA on Point. I think we'll do that on the Patreon. I want to watch this, like, history of pro wrestling and where it's split off just with you guys to react. I find it so fascinating. And
yes,
you guys know that on Memba Mondays, sometimes we break down, like, yo, this match turned into a shoot. And I just mark out about that shit so much. Anyways, let's,
you know, for a couple of years was bring back people who were past their prime but still had names and focused on them. And it's a strategy that can work.
Here's the problem, too. Dave's like, oh, people who are past their primes. In what, Dave? He doesn't ever give full context. People may think that I babble too much, but I try to give the full spectrum. I try to give everybody's sides. I try to give the full scope, the full picture as much as I can. Dave, what he's trying to say is these people are past their primes in MMA. Right? In grappling, there's more longevity there. Okay, but Dave is such a redact. He can't like make that point. It's the same thing earlier. Bryan had to be like, he's talking about WBD splitting into two companies, right? Because Dave's like, what Bischoff did in WCW took people who are past their prime. What's prime in wrestling? So to Dave, it's just the ability to do flips and shit. Was Sting not in his? Okay, forget that. Was Hulk Hogan when he was drawing all that money and the NWO was peak? Was Hogan and Nash and Hall not in their prime? I don't get it, man. Was Guerrero and Benoit and Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko and these guys not in their prime? Was Sid Vicious and these guys not in their prime? Was Goldberg not in his prime? Like, who are we talking about? The guys who came from WWE over? I mean, I don't know. What's prime in wrestling, in pro wrestling? Like how much you're drawing and if you can have a match. Hogan was having matches, buddy. Oh, but he couldn't hit the ropes as fast. Oh, so you mean like his physical prime. But like that's so in MMA and freestyle wrestling, I would argue that some of these guys who are chinny from getting punched in the fucking head athletically, cardiovascularly, old man strength wise, I would argue a lot of these guys are in their prime for wrestling, for fucking, you know, like, yes, obviously younger athletes do better in most athletics. We can just generally say that. But again, Luke Rockhold's chinny. Jiu-jitsu's about technique. Okay. The biggest dude doesn't win every jiu-jitsu match. You know, a veteran isn't always like people. A purple belt can tap out a black belt, dude. It can happen. You know what I mean? Like it's all about skill and technique and all of these sorts of things. Now being athletic and shit. Yeah, but he needs to make the distinction. Like in MMA, they're past their primes. In amateur wrestling, has Luke Rockhold wrestled since high school? Did he wrestle in college? Did he go to college? He was a model and shit, bro. I don't know if he even wrestled ever. You know what I mean? He's a jiu-jitsu guy. So past their prime in what, Dave? You're just so dumb. Just stop. He's just trying to take a shot at Bischoff.
Work short term and did work short term great. But long term, you know, you pay the price unless you are developing new stars. Then he went to TNA and did the same thing, and it was a complete failure. You know, I mean, just a disaster, you know, because the guys he was focusing.
Everyone was doing that in TNA. So again, Bischoff came and brought over who? Bischoff and then pushed Jeff Hardy and RVD and some of these guys, man. And yes, he like some other guys came over who were past their prime and shit, but like that's always what TNA did since Jeff Jarrett invented it. He brought in ex-WWE guys and Macho Man wearing all black and not taking his fucking trench coat off or whatever, right? For whatever reason, right? Like they always did that in TNA. So it's like, oh, he did that in TNA as well. It's like, well, that's what TNA was. It was just it's the same thing with AEW. It's what Tony Khan's doing right now. You know?
We're also much older. So with this Real American Freestyle thing, what he's doing is
no. And then again, Dave's going to assess this poorly. Let's take a look. I'm going to dissect this here too.
He's got some very good wrestlers.
Right. Now, Dave, what Dave's trying to say here, but he won't. Well, let's play it a little bit more.
And they are on the show.
Let's see if he says young wrestlers. Dude, they had Frank Mir's daughter wrestle. She lost her last match. They have 19 and early 20-year-old prospects who are tremendous athletes, and Dave just goes, they do have some wrestlers. They're great wrestlers. He's meaning to say now they do have a shitload of young prospects that they're building by bringing in these veterans and having guys like Clay Guida and Holly Holm wrestle, and you know what I mean? And then people see the undercard and they see these other matches, and then we're really trying to get these younger talents over. And for the fighters, it's not that dangerous. Like losing a wrestling match for Holly Holm. She's one of the most decorated combat sport athletes of all time. Losing a wrestling match and putting some youngster over, she doesn't care about that. Now in MMA, okay, dude, you get a few losses, you're out of that top 15, you're out of that title picture. You know what I mean? In amateur wrestling or pro wrestling, whatever you want to call it, freestyle wrestling, it's no sweat off her back. And they're making these young stars. And if you listen to 83 Weeks and the hype surrounding RAF, a lot of it is them hyping these young up and coming talents and them getting matched against names that you've seen, and these matches being built around, and then you have like a Rockhold Covington to draw. And so Dave's just discounting that, and he's like, well, there are wrestlers on the show, but the headline is Luke versus Covington, and who gives a shit? This is what AEW should have did and what they were doing at the beginning. You're trying to make these younger guys like MJF and shit, but you have guys like Jericho and Cody Rhodes who can headline against each other and get everyone over. Did Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman and some of these guys and Eddie Guerrero's and shit, they didn't get over? Benoit didn't win a world title, then go to WWE and do that. I keep going to bed. Maybe I'll stop that. But just a lot of these names, right? Like people didn't get noticed because like Chris Jericho didn't get more popular because guys like Hogan and them and Goldberg didn't get over because Hogan and Mach and shit were doing what they were doing, or did it all trickle down? There's a trickle down effect, Dave. Okay. And I know you and Tone don't understand that because you guys think if you put two randoms on TV when Monday Night Raw is supposed to be on and they do a bunch of flips, everyone's going to go, that's better wrestling. Not how it works, bud.
On the show, and there's some matches that are good. He had Jordan Oliver and Real Woods on the last show, and he's going to rematch them on January 10th as well, I believe. So you have that, but what he's doing to headline to get people in is getting, essentially well past their prime UFC stars.
Well past their prime. In what capacity, Dave? So this is the thing. Glover Teixeira is past his prime in MMA. Absolutely. He will strangle fucking and put him in a jiu-jitsu tournament, and I bet he'd strangle a bunch of motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like past their prime in what way? It's a grappling tournament, dude. It's just a crazy. He's just not. He doesn't know. He's not tapped in. He doesn't know shit. He's just talking out of his ass, and he can talk out of his ass about MMA to pro wrestling people because in the MMA sphere, in the MMA circles, they don't go to Dave and go, oh, Dave's saying this. The only thing the MMA bubble looks to Dave for is like, oh, ticket sales and pay-per-view buys. And they go, oh, he's reputable. He's been chronicling all the fucking fights and all the attendances but that's all they looked. It's not like they go, oh, Dave Meltzer said this about MMA. None of them care what he has to say. And so he just bullshits pro wrestling fans with his trash fucking combat sports takes. And Eric Bischoff has a couple responses here. So Niccolo Piccolo, we talked about before, he absolutely goes off on Dusty Dave and he goes, Lord, forgive me. Okay, guys, strap in. We're going to rip through this one, okay?
Oh, my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
And Niccolo Piccolo, I want you to put something from Wu-Tang. Put Protect Your Neck behind this one, okay, if you're listening, bud. So Niccolo Piccolo goes, Lord, forgive me. Dave can tell the difference between a Tiger Driver 91 and a Burning Hammer, two hyper-specific Japanese finishing moves, but he can't tell the difference between athletic tape, a compression sleeve, and a knee brace. The purposes and biomechanical benefits of the three aren't remotely the same. A giant knee brace like the one Stone Cold Steve Austin wore is a post-injury stabilization device meant to protect damaged ligaments. Athletic tape, by contrast, enhances proprioception, the body's ability to sense movement in a spatial position, which improves balance, control, and precision. For athletes who need to plant or pivot at full speed. One is medical equipment, the other is performance maintenance. They don't even belong in the same conversation. So one's to heal, one is for stability while actually continuing to be active. You guys get it? That's what he's saying there. That's really the whole point. Dave doesn't know what he's looking at. He can cite attendance figures from 93 Corey Quinn Hall, but he once called Patrick Mahomes the best quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in football. Patrick Mahomes. You guys remember that? Patrick Mahomes. He called him Patrick Mahomes. He called Cuervo. Okay. We've made fun of all of that multiple times on air. And then also he said he would be a top like NFL sports reporter. while calling him Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, dude. The most famous fucking football player at the time. The clips exist. So when he claims to have seen Rusev in a giant knee brace, what he's really showing is that he doesn't have the vocabulary or background to identify what he's seeing at all if he isn't making it up. I never played a football game with without tape around both ankles, not because I was hurt, but because the tape sharpened my joint feedback, that microsecond awareness that separates reaction from instinct. It's the first thing you learn in athletic training. Regular people do it in the gym. Copper Fit literally markets to them, but that's the difference between real athletes and the products you can buy off the rack at CVS. Compression sleeves, the kind that come in a 2-pack next to the ibuprofen, are made for general comfort, not high performance proprioception. They increase circulation and reduce swelling for casual use, but they don't provide the targeted tension, mechanical feedback, or neuromuscular reinforcement that athletic tape delivers. One is for recovery and light support. The other is for calibrated performance at game speed. That's why the claim is absurd. That isn't insider knowledge. It's ignorance dressed up as expertise. This pattern has defined him for decades. He's memorized the data, but never understood the substance. He's a walking index without an editor. Confusing recall for comprehension. His entire identity is built on collecting fragments of a business he's never participated in and selling them back to people who did. He speaks with the tone of a researcher, but none of the discipline. He's a faux intellectual who has spent 40 years mistaking immersion for insight. And that's where journalistic integrity matters. Real journalism, the kind DeFord practice, starts with humility and precision. DeFord, who is Dave's hero, understood that the story is earned through observation, not assumption. He knew athletes as human beings, not data points. If he were alive today, DeFord would have long since distanced himself from Dave Meltzer, because he would have recognized what this is, a man making mistaking the act of watching for the act of knowing. DeFord built trust through accuracy. Dave erodes it through invention. Frank didn't worship the business he covered. He interpreted it. Dave writes like a mark, desperate for proximity to the world he claims to chronicle. His reporting is an analysis. It's an elaborate projection of belonging. So no, there was never a giant knee brace. Maybe there was tape, maybe there was compression, but no brace. And there never will be photographic evidence of one. What there is evidence of spanning decades is Dave inventing details to fit his own mythology. That's not investigation, that's fantasy. And when fantasy starts masquerading as fact, it stops being journalism at all. Dropped fucking bombs on Niccolo Piccolo, dude. Oh my God. Smoked on the mic like smoking Dave Meltzer. Oh, dude. Nick just bodied him. So then Eric Bischoff responds and goes, absolutely nailed it. Niccolo Piccolo, of course, represents Eric. Absolutely nailed it. This point, his entire identity is built on collecting fragments. So he just quotes it and is like, this is absolutely on point. And then old Uncle Eazy-E had this to say as well about Dave Meltzer. Wave Seltzer. I have the clip here. So do you agree? And this is from 83weeks.com.
Dave Meltzer's ridiculously obsessive support to the point of delusion of Tony Khan and AEW has done more to hurt that brand than help it. Dave Meltzer's ridiculous.
So do you guys agree or not? And I put a poll in the chat. And also, if you're watching to this in clip form, tell me in the comments down below, what do you think was the biggest fail this week? I'm curious what you guys think after this episode. Okay. And yeah, I agree with Eric Bischoff here. They've done nothing but harm AEW more than anything else. So we have Dave kind of spurging out on people. Let's just read some of these here and react to some of these. And just Alfred Kunawa here. Dementia Dave Meltzer will never shut up about being inducted into the Angel Fire Hall of Fame 10 years ago. So again, just showing more when Dave's like, oh, you need new material. Here's like his 10 million fucking tweets about the Angel Fire, whatever. And of course, Alfred's just doing this to like fuck with him because he was like, people need new material. But meanwhile, Dave just rests on his laurels and fucking repeats the same shit constantly. And so here's the goat. Meltzer said what? Dropping some bombs here. So Waid Ismail says, Dave, every time someone disagrees with you, you jump straight to you didn't read instead of addressing the actual criticism. Spot on. I point that out all the time. He won't, like, even if he's wrong about something, he'll say, well, I wrote about it extensively in the Observer. Okay, stupid, but you're on Twitter arguing with people and they're calling you out. Link them. Cite it like a fucking Bible verse. Show us exactly where it is or just refute it right then. People aren't reading your garbage. That's why you have 50% fire sales. Okay? All year long. And Dave goes, nope, except point out exactly where they were off base, and it's because they don't read. No, you don't. Or it's clear from what they say that they don't have a clue of what I've said because they've never read. No, retard, you're supposed to show them what to read. Think about the marketing opportunity. No, I addressed that here. Sign up for our shit, 50% off all year, bud. What a marketing opportunity it would be. Instead, you condescend because you're dumb and you're egotistical. You're a narcissist. Sorry, but if you don't read, any comments about me or my thoughts are inherently out of ignorance. So if you don't read his Observer shit reg, then anything you say about him is ignorance. Wow, what an amazing bubble. This is literally like a sociopathic, narcissistic. This is like cognitive dissonance right here. This is the bubble. He just admitted it right here. He just admits his shield is, if you don't read my shit reg, you're not even allowed to comment on me, bro.
Emotional damage.
Crazy, bro. That's Dave right there. Dude. That's Dave right there, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Even if you read all of his arguments with people, him getting owned on Twitter and shit, none of that counts. It's only if you listen to his bullshit, or you read his bullshit, rather, are you allowed to formulate an opinion on him. Or not, or you're not allowed to point out how he argues bullshit, or when he's wrong about something, then he goes, nope, I wrote about it in this thing you didn't read. He's allowed to just say that, and then your criticism's invalid, then block, and then it's all good. It's pretty kooky, man. So Meltzer said what the GOAT says. Hi, Dave Meltzer. Person here who has proved you wrong thousands of times by accepting your condescending challenge. Oh, I got to retweet this from my guy. This tweet below perfectly summarizes the villain origin story of why you needed to be exposed and why from day one I used your own words against you. Boom. Boom, dude. And that's why I play that game. Do you guys see it? Do you guys see why Meltzer said what, does it the way he does it, and why your boy Philly Phil Marks does it the way? I got to play the key demo game. We got to beat him. We got to do whataboutism with AEW. You just beat him at his own game because that highlights way better. That's why Nick does Nick breaks it down and like fills you in on what Dave doesn't understand and shit, which he does like more than you even need to. He's like letting he's pulling the curtain way back on the entertainment side of things. But you just beat him at his own game because it will just highlight like the way he's just had 30 years of unchecked shit he can just report about wrestling. Now the internet's checking him on the shit, and this will counteract the history books one day. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you right now. So, Dave Meltzer, let's see if he argues with anyone else. Yeah, so J Love Podcast had this to say. In Mexico, cool, their stars aren't globally marketable. And so Dave Meltzer says their biggest star was the second most played character for 2 years in the WWE video game. So he's claiming. So is Dave Meltzer claiming that Mystico was the most played character for 2 years in the video game? This is like when Vampiro was like, yeah, you got to sue WWE because every year my character's the most, he's a secret character every year or whatever. And it's like, bro, no, it's like community creations. They just like, they put the parts together and they make the guy. Mystico's not the top downloaded guy in their video game, if that's what Dave's trying to say. But again, he just says shit like, bro, you don't play video games.
We have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
Like, how would you know?
Baby, learn Meltzer Inferno.
And then my guy JJ is like, which game would that be, Dave? Considering a new one comes out each year, the chances of it being the same game for 2 years in a row is highly unlikely. Also, there's no way to know that. You come up with the most ridiculous shit to lie about. And it's so fucking true, dude. I just don't know how he comes up with this nonsense. Anyways, moving along. So here is Jeff Lane saying, in 2019, Tony Khan called Dave Meltzer after Meltzer buried Dynamite to tell him we're going to make it better. Ever since, they've been writing a show for the most uncool person. Right? And then Dave Meltzer goes, and weeks after that, after the change, their 2-year deal where only production was covered and they received the best non-WWE rights deal in the history of pro wrestling. Yeah, they were going to do that anyways, Dave. They were going to do that anyways. Then they signed a follow-up deal that was better. Then they signed the most recent deal for $555 million over 3 years. I hope those facts were a part of this discussion. Imagine how much it would be if you didn't get involved and they were still doing $1 million, though. And they were still doing 850,000, 900,000 viewers and shit, Dave. Imagine how big and great it would be then. Huh? You won't do that. You don't do that. You're a dumb fuck. You sabotage them. It should be more than that. The biggest one ever, besides WWE. Taking credit for them listening to his dipshit ass. Taking credit for it, man. I mean, it's crazy. This is why they're in the boat they're in.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
I'm actually like at a loss for fucking words. It's like he's now just like bragging about. Look at that. And this guy, AJ Leatherman, writes, AEW's entire booking plan is geared towards pleasing the tastes of a lonely, autistic hoarder. And it's so true, bro. It's so true, man. It's nuts, dude. It's crazy. That hair's crazy. I'm like at a loss for words. He's bragging about the fact, like, well, they listen to me and look where they are now, Brian. Like, whoa, buddy. So, Dave and Brian, they talk a little bit about WWE. So let's get into this. Okay. It is time for some Brian action and them talking about WWE. So Brian says that there was a horrific botch in this Dragon Lee match, and then Dave can't help because he's a pre-programmed Grok bot. Dave is now burying Dragon Lee, someone he glazed when he was in AEW. Glazed so hard and was like, Tony wants, blah, blah, blah. Now Dragon Lee is no improvisation. They can't get off the script. It's just bananas. He won't let this go. Now he's trying to say that Dragon Lee can't improvise and can't get off the script in WWE and they're just pre-programmed. He won't get off this notion.
They had a horrific botch spot in this match.
There was a lot of there was 3 or 4 botch spots by Dragon Lee.
Well, they're 3 in a row.
Yeah.
First, he
3 or 4 botch spots, 3 in a row. No, stupid. It was one botch spot that he botched. It was one botch spot that he fucked up 3 times in a row. He botched the one spot 3 times. It wasn't like 3 unique spots. It was fucking, he tried to lift him up, couldn't, tried it again, couldn't, and then tried it a 3rd time, which is horrendous. Fucking terrible. Abysmal. Dragon Lee should know better. But when Dave is trying to do this thing where it's like trying to say people like Stephanie Vaquer and Dragon Lee are pre-programmed, I just think Dragon Lee was embarrassed, tried to pull the spot off. Like he had to call it in the ring. I'm sure after the 3rd time, their buddy's like, hey, stop, you know? We see many a times in AEW and WWE where this happens. This happens across the board in wrestling in 2025 and TNA as well, where people fuck things up and then they go back into trying to do the fucking move to get the shot for TV. Everyone does that across the board now. It's unfortunate, but again, this is what happens when wrestling is in the state it's in.
Tries to lift Ivar onto his shoulders for something.
Well, that's 3 right there.
Yeah, but Ivar, he loses balance and falls over. So he tries to do it again, and he loses balance a second time. So the third time, Ivar's like, I got to help this guy. So he tries to jump a little to help him, but he jumped too much. And so Dragon lost his balance a third time and fell down. And you could hear this crowd. They're fixing to give him a "you fucked up" chant, but they're just too polite. They can't bring themselves to do it. It's a new audience nowadays. Yeah. So,
but then everyone cries about, well, they do what all the time? They say what? It's sickos.
They just kept going.
They kept going with the idea that he actually had done the move.
Yeah, he did not.
Yeah, it was so funny because it's like he collapsed. So in theory, collapsing, you should be the one selling. But as it was scripted, he did the move. So when he failed the move 3 times, he just got up and kept on offense like he did the move.
Yeah.
There was when you talk about no improvisation.
This is the thing. They could have left it here. Totally fair analysis and criticism. I'm with you guys.
The move.
Yep. Terrible. But then he's going to add this. Dragon Lee can't improvise. You mean the guy whose balls you sucked when he was on Dynamite and shit? And then cried about when he went to WWE? And then said, oh, he's missing, and they fucked over CMLL or whatever the fuck. They pulled a move with FTR. You mean this guy, Dragon Lee? He can't improvise? You mean the War Raiders, who I'm sure Dave glazed when they were in Japan and shit? They can't improvise and shit, but when they were in Japan, they could. Stephanie Vaccair's pre-programmed now, but she goes and makes Monet look like $1 million. But now she's pre-programmed because she doesn't do the same move 3 fucking times in a row. I don't know, man. He's just trying to throw this little jab in at Dragon Lee, and it's so shiesty to do.
There was when you talk about no improvisation, this was like, I'm watching this going like, man, they cannot get off that script no matter how ridiculous it looks.
Like, he says it as though they don't have the ability. Like, Dragon Lee couldn't have just said, okay, Enziguri or something, and then go into the next spot. He could have. He just kept fucking it up. That's on Dragon Lee. That was Dragon Lee's bad. But just to be like, they in WWE, no one can improvise. You mean like Cena when they chanted 619, so he got Dom, so he called it. You could just see him yelling it, and he got Dom to hit him with the clothesline, or when the RKO, where the crowd was chanting RKO at Cena, and he yelled, well, Cena's one of the GOATs. Yeah, but you're saying they. Who's they? Like everyone? So you're saying the War Raiders and Dragon Lee and AJ Styles can't improvise? I don't know, Dave. I think you need some new material. You're trying to drive this point home that you don't need to hate on Dragon Lee like that. So Bryan Alvarez melts down about NXT here, and he's back on the faux outrage train.
Brian.
And again, people have been enjoying NXT. A lot of people say NXT Weekly is one of the best wrestling shows. It's beating Dynamite for the most part. And, people being drowned in fish bowls and getting kidnapped with plastic bags around their heads and thrown in trunks and shit. That's not ridiculous. And then they're just there the next week. Or Moxley no-selling a blood and guts, not even a bandage on his head. The Wednesday following a pay-per-view. He doesn't go off like this. No one's incompetent over there. But then in NXT, everyone's incompetent because Javon lost that match. Now, Javon losing his match, I agree, is an L. But again, Brian, he just doesn't really care. He doesn't truly feel this way. And the whole conversation of people need to get called up, we need to stop that. No, they don't. NXT is just its own thing. You're going to be 37 in an NXT, some of you guys, okay? It's not really developmental. There's developmental elements in NXT, but I don't care about call-ups and shit anymore. It's just like, whatever. It's just a brand of WWE or whatever. Because, I don't know, man. That whole notion of like, who's going to get called up? Well, clearly nobody, and clearly they're just running. They have their top guys in NXT, the way they do on SmackDown or whatever. Get over it already, I don't know what to tell people.
Tom is going to do his NXT report here today. I know everyone is expecting me to blow my stack today, but I'm not gonna. I hit my breaking point.
Whoa, yeah, Ariana would not be happy about that.
I hit my breaking point Saturday when Javon got this gigantic win and was immediately laid out like a geek by Tony D, who then stared down Obafemi. And then after beating down Javon and staring down Obafemi, he had nothing to do with either of them on the follow-up show. And then, of course, they gave Javon his title shot that night and he lost. Listen, I could get mad, but like, it's a stupid show. The people in charge are incompetent. And at this point, if I get mad, I'm incompetent. So I don't care. Review the show. The bigger
No. Here's the thing, Bri. This would be the time. It's not about getting mad. NXT's not bad enough to get mad about. That's the thing, Bri. Okay? NXT has not consistently bad for like, the last 6 years of this shit. It's been just going downhill. So that's why people get mad about AEW or like where NWA is right now. People just clown it because they're just like, what the fuck? Like, you had it there with Aldis and Power and everything you were doing. And then obviously, yeah, COVID hit and that affected everyone. But like, then you have the Sinister Minister sniffing lines in the fucking audience. Like, what are you guys doing? Even in some ways, TNA fans getting mad at TNA for the direction they're starting to go with the NXT invasion. Okay, it's been like a year of this now, and we get their mid-lower guys taking on our top guys. Like, I could see how that pissed some TNA fans off a little bit. But the reason, like, why people make fun of Bryan and call him incompetent is because it's just a phony meltdown. Like, NXT's not this bad. Is this fucked up? How Javon just lost his shot? Like he just cashed in his shot or whatever right away and whatever the fuck. Yes. Javon's not winning the NXT title, bros. He's just going to end up going to the main roster eventually and doing his thing there. I just don't think he's a guy who ever wins a title in NXT and then in WWE we'll see him winning US titles and shit. I'm sure of it, like on Raw or SmackDown or whatever. But yeah, with the whole, like, is Obafemi called up? Where's Tony D and all that? Bryan, you would have been right to criticize and shit on this episode. It's just before when you're, like, freaking out about Ava, it's unwarranted. That's why. It's unwarranted, the meltdowns about Ava, so people are calling you dumb. This is more of a warranted, if you're going to scream and yell, this would be the time to do it. Okay? Now, I get it. You have some hate boner for Ava. That's fine. We pick and choose our battles, but yes, this was shitty. This was much shittier. This would have been the time to freak out, not then.
To me is every day I feel more stupid for watching this stupid show. The issue is the show. The issue is the inability to see talent.
No, that is literally the most retardedest thing you could ever say. Okay? More retarded than retardedest. Okay? They have the inability. Bryan, you're literally crying because everyone's so talented. And everyone's so talented on the main roster for the most part. Where they're struggling, where do we put Javon? Up here. Whose spot does he have to take? Because we have so much talent. That's the problem with all. This is why no one cares when it's like, but AEW has the best. They have just such a talented roster. Everyone has a talent. No one cares. Yeah, everyone can wrestle. You throw a rock, you hit someone who can fucking pro wrestle these days. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, everyone can wrestle good. So that's out the window. Right? So Bryan's literally crying about everyone's so talented. When are they getting called up? Okay, some of these talented people got to lose. They can't recognize talent. Bri, there can't be 1,000 titles. So was Roddy Piper, was WWE not recognizing talent by having Roddy Piper main event against Hogan and shit like that at WrestleManias, but not putting the strap on him? Or was it just that they had all these, Hulk Hogan was a fucking megastar and Roddy Piper's incredibly talented? Was Macho Man not talented because or I guess they put the strap on him. That's a bad example, but you guys get what I'm saying? Like, okay, so do they not recognize talent because you need a belt to recognize? Like, what are you saying? You're literally mad because everyone's so talented and they don't just have belts because. It's like if Obafemi lost the title and then we'd be going, but he's so talented. Why would he? They can't recognize talent. That's why all these talented guys are here having matches on this show, because they can't recognize talent. What are you, a dumb fuck?
I can't subject myself to such a stupid show every week. I'm stupid for caring. Like, I learned that Saturday.
No, you're not stupid for caring. You're stupid because what you think you're caring about is stupid. Bryan, you're such an ignorant fuck. Lance Storm tried to point this out to you. Tom Lawler's tried to point this out to you. That's why you're Dave Meltzer 2.0. Okay? That's why you're going to take over. That's why Dave selected you, dude. Because you do this thing where, like, you make it about something it isn't. Lance and Tom Lawler tried to explain this to you already. Not everyone can just be called NXT's it's its own TV show. It's now competing with TNA and Dynamite every week. You need stars. People are going to be 37. People are going to be career NXTers like Ridge Holland. And he was even on the main roster. But you guys know what I'm saying? Like, just get used to that. It's no longer, hey, and again, there were guys, and I've used this example. Nobody was like, hey, when's the Damager going to get called up? And the Basham brothers, bro. Hey, when are they getting called up from OVW? We would never be having these conversations. Some people were just career OVW guys who were in their 30s, mid to late 30s, and then they get called up as a tag team or whatever. That's the problem with NXT being on TV. We have to, everyone right now, collectively, get over the who's getting called up. Just get over that. It's its own thing. It's its own fucking thing, competing with TNA and AEW while WWE, Raw, and SmackDown are on like another stratosphere right now. That's what it is. So just get over that shit. Obafemi might just be in NXT forever. I've pointed this out too. Obafemi goes up to the main roster, and then what? You have a bunch of destroyers right now. Oh, he destroys guys? Oh, like Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed's doing, and Jacob Fatu does, and Tala Tonga and Solo do. Like, you know, what does he do? Just keep him in NXT, man. It makes sense. So, again, Bryan, you're just like all fucked up. You're all discombobulated in the brain. You're not actually listening to the criticism. You're just selectively saying, like, listening to one aspect. Like, oh, people just think I'm dumb for caring. No, dude, that's what they get mad at Phil Marks for caring about Dynamite and AEW. They're mad at you because it's disingenuous and smarmy. It's like not even a real criticism. You're just getting mad about like Ava and then getting mad that everyone's talented and then going, they can't recognize talent. But you're literally crying because everyone's so talented is what you're saying in the same breath. The fuck you talking about?
I'm stupid for caring. So like, I'm done. So you review it. I don't care.
So moving along here as we rip, roar, rhyme, and rip. So Dave Meltzer had this to say about Freddie Prinze Jr. and ESPN being unhappy with the WWE deal. Here's his take on it. I was hit up by someone who I would trust on this opinion very much, saying like, they were like, yeah, Freddie Prinze is just talking shit. Like maybe he was told that, but it's just he always has bad takes type thing. Now again, I'm a Freddie Prinze fan, man. You ain't gonna get me to hate on Freddie. So that's just what someone let me know, allegedly. Okay. So
what do you think about Freddie Prinze's comments about ESPN possibly being hot about the deal?
When ESPN made the deal, I ran the numbers. It's like, you can't make money on this.
Oh my
WWE
God, Dave, shut up.
It's just the numbers. You run the numbers.
Ran the numbers.
It doesn't. The deal doesn't add up. It doesn't. It doesn't make economic sense. So if there's someone who he talked to that looked at this later and ran the numbers,
if there's someone who he talked to that listen to how bad Dave's take is. If he talked to someone who ran the number, no, bro. So Freddie Prinze makes movies. Okay. Freddie Prinze has friends who work for Disney and all these other places. Someone he knows who works for Disney in particular said that they heard the ESPN side of shit. They're hoping to make their money back. Dave's extrapolating it. If he knows someone who crushed the number, he doesn't. He has a friend who works at Disney, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
It's a game of telephone at that point, you know? And like, I'm not even discounting it. They're probably right. If Freddie says he has a friend at Disney and that person likely has a friend at ESPN because it's all the same shit, or they heard someone who used to intern for this guy got transferred and to ESPN, whatever, and then texted him, oh man, they're hot about the WWE thing. I'm willing to believe that, but we're just playing telephone. Dave's talking about crunching numbers. Freddie never said anybody crunch numbers, you asshole.
They're not going to be happy. And there's going to be other people who are just like us, you know, whatever. We need the prestige, and I mean, not the WWE's prestige, but we need something to build this ESPN app. I mean, at this point, are they happy with 1.7 million subscribers? I don't know. I don't know what they're.
But that's not really WWE's fault. It is the ecosystem in which they're rolling this app out.
Right. No, none of it's WWE's fault. But they have had a couple of shows now where they can tell on the day.
See, and then the guys start, but they have, and then Dave goes, but, this is how it is. And then even he gets laughed at by his co-host.
Had a couple of shows now where they can tell on the day of the.
See how his co-host couldn't even hold it in? He starts giggling. Oh, shit. Dave's going to do it, isn't he? He's going to just, he just can't for once ever just be like, well, maybe Freddie Prinze is talking shit that in a game of telephone.
Show, you know what I mean? Or the week of the show, the number of subscribers that they've added, and they probably had an idea of what that is. Okay, yes. Going in, are they meeting that goal? Like, look, we don't know.
At least he says we don't know, and that is true. And also, guys, there has to be an element of, okay, well, WWE's getting popular again. We do market research. It's the same thing with Netflix. It's like, okay, well, we know that this amount of Netflix, I'm just making shit up here, but I'm sure like there's people smarter than I in the biz, the Niccolo Piccolo types who are going before they make deals with ESPN and WWE. Okay, well, we can assume like maybe there's a chance that this many Netflix viewers watch WWE on this already. Like, they're crunching numbers and doing shit Dave and I and the people in the chat and in the comments haven't even fucking thought of yet and aren't going to think of. Dave, shut the fuck up. He just wants to, yeah, Freddie Prinze is right. They're crunching numbers over there at the Prinze Michelle Gellar household. Shut the fuck up. So, Dave had this to say, actually he says this, the reported working plan for 26 would potentially be a retirement run for Brock Lesnar. Now, here's the problem. A retirement run, potentially. Retirement run. Now everything is like farewell to a retirement run. They're not doing that for everybody. Not everything's going to be farewell to a retirement, whatever the fuck. Now, will Brock likely retire at SummerSlam in Minnesota? I was the governor of Minnesota down in the Baja. Is he going to retire there? Maybe. Likely. That'd be a good spot. Or is it Brock and he just, he comes back whenever he wants? Is John Cena done? Yup. Is AJ getting a farewell tour? Now it's everyone's getting a farewell tour. Nope. He's just retiring when he retires. Jericho's going to get a retirement farewell tour. But now that's all. He just can't help but repeat this over and about every single guy. And everyone's like, and then Dave's likely 26 will be or everybody's running with this. 26 will be the last year for Brock and AJ and Jericho. And no one's talking about Orton. Orton's done. Orton's done, guys. This could be his last WrestleMania. This one. Okay? Orton's done, guys. Who else? Jericho will go through 27, just so everybody knows as well. He'll go through 27, so everyone like Jericho retirement tour 26. Nope. Wrong. What else? AJ, yeah, okay, he said he's done. Brock, I think that makes sense. But like, are they going to treat it like farewell tour? Everyone gets a Cena. They do 4 of them at the same time. Is that what you guys all think is going to happen? It's crazy. The IWC's crazy and Dave's fucking nuts. A retirement run. Yeah, just whatever run they choose to end at is the retirement run. They're thinking of doing a retirement run. So just a run, his last run. So he's going to do a run, and if he chooses to retire, then okay. Like, what is this whole... It's because Cena did this unique thing, and now everyone's like, retirement run. Guys, Jericho's going to go to WWE for 2 years, then he's going to go back to AEW. I want you guys to understand this, okay? So Dave actually glazes. So here's some bass to Meltzer, okay? Glazing a bit of... a bit of WWE here, and he's just putting over Kendall Gray, and it's unfortunate for Kendall because now people are going to write her off as like just Dave glazes her and shit. It's gonna happen. I'm sorry. People are gonna be like turned off that Dave likes her so much. It almost happened to Nathan Frazier, and remember, Dave used to glaze Frazier until when? Nathan Frazier quote tweeted him and was like rare or uncommon Dave Meltzer W or whatever when he rated Axiom so high. Like Dave was talking about Frazier all the time until Frazier made one slight joke at Dave Meltzer. Now, does Meltzer talk about Frazier? Never. Thank God Frazier did that though, because you don't need Meltzer glazing you. So he glazes Kendall Gray. Who ruined Wednesday for me? I'm sorry, it ruined the Wednesday bit for me. On PWT, the Thursday shit, it fucking ruined it. That's why I don't do that bit anymore. I'm just letting you guys know. PWT every Wednesday and Saturday.
The Iron Survivor matches, did you like more? The men's or the women's?
The women.
Women's was booked so well. It was so fast.
The women. I thought the women like really stood out. I thought like Kendall Gray. I thought was just fantastic.
She's awesome.
She won. I mean,
and they rule. I love Kendall and I love Ren Sinclair. Nothing's gonna change that. But I'm just saying it fucking ruined it because they're doing these different formats. It is what it is.
Like she's gonna be a superstar. Excellent match. I think it was better than any women's match in WWE that did not involve Io Sky this year. Okay.
It's just such a sicko Mark redact cage match thing to say.
Because definitely there's some Io Sky matches that were better. But aside from that, I would think it's
just the easy sicko blanket thing to say. Well, yeah, for sure, Io had a match that was better. I can't name one, but Io is just real good, you know.
It was really high.
Come on, man, you're fucking base.
I'm surprised
level
Triple H hasn't stole this match for.
It's a great match for a pay-per-view. And the thing about it too is that when you do a match like this, it's like the way this match was booked, and the men's as well. It's like you can do this match and, you know, everyone loses falls, but everyone wins falls. And in the end, if the match is great, it's like everyone wins.
So, and it's funny too, because this is why the Casino Battle Royal sucks. Or whatever the fuck, the Casino Gauntlet, because not everyone eats a pin. And Dave is explaining why the Casino Gauntlet would be better.
Which of the Iron...
But I'm surprised Triple H hasn't stole it, dude, so that NXT has none of their own unique match types. Like, they really don't get what's going on over there at the Observer, huh? And so here is what Dave Meltzer we talked about earlier. About how Dave Meltzer and all the boomers are talking about call-ups still. It's just an old passe thing. The call-ups, we're done. There's no call-ups anymore. You know what I mean? When you're on NXT TV, that's a call-up. There's just stages and levels, you know? That's a call-up, if you want to call it that, from the ID Evolve program or NIL. You get called up to, like, Shiloh Hill. You're on NXT now. Is that not a call-up? The NXT call-up thing, like, it's its own show. It's its own brand, its own characters. And so Dave gives the boomer take of call.
One of these people are going to start moving to the main roster.
Yeah.
I mean
it's got to be soon, right? With SmackDown going to 3 hours. I know Brian had the note that he expected people to come up shortly.
Well, I mean, Obafemi should be up. It's his time. Trick probably should be up. JC Jane should be up. You know, as far as others.
Why? Whose spot does she take? Before anyone says, call this person up, whose spot do they take? They're so bloated everywhere.
There's others who could, I mean, like, but those three I think should. And if that's the case, then if JC Jane's going to come up,
Jane could take Julia's spot, I guess, but they could just, or hear me out, they could just do better shit with Julia.
Then on the other side, like JC Jane's very valuable in the women's division in NXT, and if she's just as brought up, and then they have no idea what to do with her, like Julia,
on my 2K universe, there's 2 NXT brands, NXT Gold and NXT Platinum. Make NXT into 2 shows before you fucking fuck it. That's what I'm advocating for. Oh, come on now, Phil. That's too much wrestling. I don't give a fuck. Cry about it,
It's kind of like, well, then you're almost wasting her if you don't have a great idea for her, because you don't want anyone to get lost that actually can be valuable, because, you want to keep NXT strong too. So it's a real weird balancing act. But I think Obafemi either way should be up. When are these people going to start moving?
I just don't think so. I think Oba, of all the guys, unfortunately, Oba, like Ricky Saints could fit in like Heyman's faction, or if Cody Rhodes does a heel faction with Ego and Saints as his lackeys or something. Like, there's a number of things you could do there with them. I feel like Oba, because of him being like, I'm a destroyer. We got a bunch of destroyers right now on the main roster, In fact, people get mad how people and like you have the Wyatt Six who just destroy shit. You have like tons of destroyers. I think Oba's the one where it's like it kind of makes the most sense that he's just reigning supreme over NXT for a while longer. Unfortunately, right now in WWE, the big bodies always help, but at the same time, man, I just don't see I don't see who you'd have to keep him away from the Bronze, but they're just on Raw and SmackDown. They're on both shows every week. So, what do you, and then when Jacob Fatu comes back, he's going to be doing moonsaults 10 feet in the air through tables and barricades and shit. Like, I don't know, man. We just had Bronson Reed slamming a guy, LA Knight, through the hood of a car again and shit, like, or the roof of a car. I don't know, buddies. What do you do with Obafemi? I think you just have him reign supreme again in NXT for a bit. I don't know. It makes sense. Like, just fuck these call-ups. I'm over the call-up shit. That's a done thing. That's a done deal. So speaking of the Bronze, Braun cut an amazing promo. Here is Dave and Bryan's reaction to it on Raw. Braun Breaker. He even said it. He went meta during the promo, and he's like, I'm cooking this promo, or whatever the fuck. Let's take a listen to Dave and Bryan's takeaway.
Braun does a promo, and he basically vowed to beat CM Punk. Imagine preaching your whole career, you're straight edge, but you look like a crackhead. I don't want to face this nice guy, this alleged nice guy, CM Punk. If that's what I'm going to get, you may as well vacate the title. I want the CM Punk from 2011, 2012, 2013, begging you on my hands and knees, give me that old CM Punk. I want to beat the greatest wrestler to ever lace up a pair of boots. And then he goes,
there's a lot of wrestlers better than CM Punk.
Well, I can't say that. I'll get in trouble, but
how would you get in trouble? That's not a stretch.
Actually, if I'm pretty sure Phil would say that as well. Anyway,
yeah,
Phil,
including Bret Hart.
It's not. I mean, there's, Ric Flair and there's a whole plethora of people. And not that he isn't good. He's really good, but he's closer to the best talker, and I wouldn't say he's the best talker either, but he's closer to the best talker. But best wrestler, he's very good. But come on.
So like, what are they getting mad about burying Punk? I don't understand. What are you fucking?
The best guys, Tony Khan.
You're mad because Punk came in and shook up Tony's booking for you, Dave? So, yeah, I shouldn't say Punk's not the best in the world. I'll get heat. He's one of the best in the world right now, for sure. He can't move like he used to. But I don't think Punk is never, I don't think he's like top 5 greatest of anything, but he's one of the all-around greatest, you could say. He's a great talker. He's great in ring. I guess that's what Dave said there, but at the same time, he scoffs at the best wrestler, and it's like, Yeah, man, his psychology trumps whatever the fuck Fletcher and Mike Bailey did. And I can prove that because Punk will always be a bigger draw than those two. And I'm sorry, I hate to say that. Maybe Fletcher one day, if WWE gets their hands on him, he could be a big draw, but won't be bigger than Punk. I'm sorry. Neither of those guys will be, and it's because Punk's just been at a level that
Braun does a promo, and
I don't know. And a Braun Breaker could be a guy that hits a Roman level one day. That's the scary thing right there. So undermine Punk and what he's doing with Braun instead of putting it over when it was so good because Punk. And we're sad because Tony Khan. So the Usos are back as a tag team. And it's funny because dusty dumbass Dave Meltzer is like, isn't this a demotion, Brian? And it's like, bro, you would never say that about when Hangman and Omega teamed up to go after the tag belts. Dave didn't say, is that a demotion? Samoa Joe was the world champ. And then he came back and became a trios champ. Dave never said, oh, is that a demotion, Brian? Dave Meltzer, when Jericho was world champ and then went to become Ring of Honor champ, he never said, is that a demotion, Brian? But now for the Usos, it's a demotion. It's so cringe how he does this shit.
Jimmy and Jay come out,
even though it's the New Day, one of the best drawing tag teams, one of the top tag teams in the history books, probably could land on the top 10 as far as like how over they got and shit with the free bird rule as well. The Usos, some people argue the Usos are the best tag team of all time, and New Day as well. And some people argue that the Usos will be remembered as one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And then you have Dragon Lee and AJ Styles, who is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I think we could. And when we say this, it's like, yeah, if you throw 50 names down, there's been a lot of wrestlers, man. Even right now, there's lots of wrestlers. Say the top 30. AJ Styles probably in there. If you really break it down, man, break it down. Like, you could say it makes that list for most people who are just who are like wrestling fans, you know? Whatever, though. How is this a demotion? Tag wrestling used to draw, too. It's like when the two-man power trip happened, or maybe no, because they had the IC and the world title and the tag titles. But just think of like when Cena won the tag titles with Shawn Michaels. Was that a demotion? Because he wasn't WWE champ at the time or whatever? Like, I think it's so goofy when he does shit like this that he doesn't apply in any other era. He doesn't apply to any other company, just to WWE right now because it's something to nitpick and hate on. Meanwhile, we've seen fishbowl drownings on a show you're giving 5 stars to, like their Halloween candy, like their Christmas nuts.
The encore. And then Jimmy says, we have a big-ass announcement to make. We are back in the tag team division.
And everybody pops. And to me, isn't that like the freaking demotion?
Well, it is a demotion, but he explained.
No. How the fuck is it a demotion? This is the thing. It's like, hey, AJ Styles, one of the greatest singles wrestlers of all time. Is it a demotion that he fucking won the tag titles? Like, why didn't he say that when AJ won the tag title with Dragon Lee? I just don't understand how he comes to this conclusion. And again, you have two of the greatest tag teams of all time. Clearly, AJ and Dragon Lee are going to lose it to one of these guys, and we're going to get Usos yeeting against heel Bude again, you know, which some people might not be for, but these guys are on their last runs and shit. The Usos have said, listen, when we're done, we're going to tag up together and go on another run as a tag team before all's said and done. When Jimmy's kid is born, is he going to be at home, sitting at home for the next year, hanging out with his kid? And I don't know when his kid's born, but how long is Jay going to do this? He's made so much money. It's fucking crazy, dude. It's insane. You have two of the greatest tag teams, one of the greatest singles wrestlers of all time. No one's getting demoted here. Like, Cena didn't get demoted when he randomly was teamed up with HBK. It's fucking crazy. Now, AJ, people could use the argument like, well, he didn't draw. Like, did AJ draw? I think he was drawn. Like, he's won the world title every fucking company he's been in. At some point, you got to look at that and go, well, there's a reason for that. That's all I'm saying. It's not a demotion for him to win the tag titles. Dave didn't say this when AJ won it with Dragon Lee. Why is he saying this for Jay? Jay Uso, twin brother Jimmy Uso of the Usos. It's a demotion? The fuck? Or is it an elevation of the tag division again? We can get it off two rando singles guys. You guys already know. I'm over this Dragon Lee AJ. I don't even want them to be AJ Lee. I don't want them to be fucking tag champs. I like when tag teams, you have enough tag teams in WWE to where tag teams can be tag team champions.
In that we've had a rough few months. Jay's had a tough time.
Well, yeah.
I'm his brother. Yeah. I said, you know what? We got to block the noise. We got to get back to being us. We got to put this division on notice and become the best tag team in the world and get some gold. So, yeah, they're back to being a tag team.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is
they get paid the same. You get paid the same. Even Punk said when you win the world title, you don't get more now. So
Jay is just losing match after match after match.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's the story, bro. That's the story. He's losing match after match. Yes, so now he's going to go back to being a tag team guy. And people are shitting on him for botching and not being good as a singles. So they made a story where, okay, he's losing matches, so now let's put him into a tag team again, and then he's going to be incredibly successful again as a tag team. Super over. Then they can have matches with War Machine and whatever, and then who knows, maybe the Lucha Bros get back together and take the belts off them. Maybe Big E gets involved in a story in some capacity and heel turns and manages whatever. Grayson Waller's like a flunky in there that, you know, they can have a couple singles matches against and beat along the way. Like you can see it being laid out here. And Dave's trying to paint it like, well, he's losing a bunch of matches because they're burying him, even though he's getting paid more than fucking anything. And he's still super over selling shitloads of merch. He just has it so backwards, man.
All right.
We got here, they did an L there, got an L there, we got an L here, you know, in the War Games, you know.
Yes, you do. You did. Oh, I need that for the soundboard. Oh, shit. He got an L there. We got an L here. Yeah, Dave, you take all the fucking L's. Meltzer with a capital L there.
Oh, my God. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
That's hilarious, bro. Listen to that one more time. He just felt himself.
You know, in the War Games, you know, just, we got an L here, you know, in the War Games, you know.
We got an L here. There's an L everywhere, Brian. L's everywhere for us. Yeah, dude. Moxley's got an L here, got an L there, got an L there. Is he demoted, Dave? Or are you just a dumbass?
It's just like, yeah, just like all we do is lose.
I don't think that's by...
all we do is lose.
I think that's by design. I think we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean...
If they don't win those tag titles, someone's turning on the other.
Well, I mean, Jay certainly turned, you know, cheese in a heel turn.
Yeah, but this yeeting is so over. It's one of those things where I can see...
Why it's not a demotion, stupid.
Like Jimmy turning on Jay and doing like the swerve. You think the other guy's going to turn, but the brother does instead. So, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. But Dave is...
Jimmy
he knows
and Jay
what he's
come
doing.
out.
He's doing the classic Dave Meltzer spin. He's trying to paint a narrative like they're just burying him. I promise you they are, Brian. So we talked about TNA a little bit. Here's Brian's take on what they're doing with Mike Santana. And we talked about NXT as well and development and all of these things. And he's just unsure what they're doing with Santana. I think it's pretty obvious. Like he's going to WWE sooner than later. But
I mean, the notable thing to me is whatever they're doing with Mike Santana, I think they're trying to do the thing where you get really angry that they took the title off of him.
Yeah. That's the idea.
I mean, this match was
that's
just
the
like,
idea more than
meets
meets the eyebrow.
I mean, the crowd wasn't like going wild for him. I mean, they cheered him and everything, but he did not get that reaction of people like they're really behind him and they want him. He just got a normal reaction for a babyface here on the show. So I don't know if it's working, whatever they're trying, but that's what they're trying.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be. I expect him to win the title on the first show, and I think that's probably been their mentality of like, well, that's what we're going to do on the first show, and we'll take it away, and everyone's going to be so mad, and then we're going to give it to him on the first show. type of a thing. So the first show is,
yeah. So Dave listening to DMDMW confirmed
is going to be the 5th on the 15th on AMC is going to be Frankie Kazarian defending against Mike Santana. And then
is that confirmed, or is he just making that shit up?
I guess Nick Nemeth's cashing in, and he's going to be wrestling whoever wins that in a cash-in.
So that Nick Nemeth, first off, fucking botch. Second off, he's just he's fantasy mark booking right now. Okay, he's fantasy mark booking that shit. However, that could be huge. TNA, if you're hearing Dave and people like me blow up that narrative, change it right now. Change it right now. Do something nobody expects. And have these two chuckle fucks cry about it after. Because if Dave's laying it out, playing spoiler, no. You don't let him do that to your show. It just ruins it. Everything gets ruined when that happens. Let's see here. So speaking of getting ruined, Jack Perry and this Continental Classic has been ruined from the jump. So Darby Allin's recent injury is a head injury. It was a singular blow. He's out of the Continental Classic. So then we saw Jack Perry get replaced by Darby Allin in the Continental Classic. And then he got hurt. Okay. And so Darby Allin said his legs stopped working or something. So let's take a listen to this from Dave.
Jack Perry replaces Darby Allin.
And then Jack Perry allegedly is hurt as well and out of this tournament now as well.
Who is hurt in the rest
of Darby did an interview. So I think he was there. He can travel. He said that his legs stopped working. I know it's a head injury, obviously, but
Jesus fuck.
You know, and with head injuries,
how much? And Tony's paying these guys. MJF just fleecing him for money, dude. Just laying groundwork in Hollywood, just acting and doing all this other shit, collecting so much money, showing up at the worst times for AEW, and then just like winning their title, then dipping out again whenever he wants to. Then you have Darby getting paid to just climb mountains and paralyze himself. And then you have Ospreay, herniated discs, arguing with Jim Cornette, only goes viral when he's talking about WWE, might not be able to wrestle, you know, had neck surgery, now he's recovering and like could just re-injure that shit again now that he's had surgery with the way he wrestles. Man, it's crazy.
You just never know. But he was there, which I consider a good sign. He was kind of going,
the best guys, Tony
Khan won't let me wrestle. That's fine. But he did say that he was really scared.
Poor people
don't had to go to
like AEW.
So, that's never a good thing. In the Observer, I don't know how many guys I listed. I felt like
none of the jackass guys think that their legs don't work. You know what I'm saying? And look at the dumb shit they do. They did. And Darby Allin just does this stupid shit and just proves everybody right who fucking said he was going to end up hurting himself eventually. And in AEW, people are getting seriously hurt.
When I looked at it, because I knew, I knew that if Darby wasn't going to be able to go, which I expected strongly would be the case, and I'd already been told that Tony was going to, I figured from last year, but also was told that he was going to pick a guy to take the spot. So there's a lot of different people. He went with Jack Perry, which is one of the names. Like, as its best name, it's a name. It's like, and I guess he slotted close enough to where I think Tony was probably comfortable that he probably doesn't have to change his booking at all.
Yeah.
Darby wasn't going to win the block anyway, or probably take second. So whatever wins that Darby was going to get, I'm sure Darby wasn't going to shut out.
Man. And then he's fantasy mark booking this fucking tournament like anyone cares.
I think that it's probably fine for Jack Perry to get those wins.
And then Jack Perry's hurt. So now what do they do? Who do they give it to now? Like, what do you do? And so speaking of what do you do, Dave Meltzer, we covered this on PWT Live show every Wednesday and Saturday, and Bad Bunny, he showed up at a CMLL show, right? And if you guys remember, we covered this on the show a while back, but when Bad Bunny showed up in WWE initially, and I tweeted this out, who remember when Dave Meltzer tried to pretend that Bad Bunny was unknown? LMAO, watch him flop on that this week. And he fucking did. Because I read Dave like a dummy-ass book. And so Bad Bunny showed up at CMLL. And Dave, who in the past, if you guys remember, here's this tweet I dug up here. So Meltzer said what? Post this. 2020's most streamed Spotify artist versus Dinosaur Dave's 2021 comments about Bad Bunny. Maybe you should learn and study. So in 2020, Bad Bunny, who amassed over 8.3 billion streams worldwide, he was followed by artists like Drake, J Balvin, Juice WRLD, The Weeknd, right? And so what Dave had to say was like, he printed this. Bad Bunny was announced as of one of the halftime stars at the Super Bowl this year. This news brought about some of the worst dregs of society commenting negatively about a foreigner. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Being allowed to perform at the Super Bowl. Here's what he had. So again, like the last time we talked about Bad Bunny, Dave was, now like Dave tried to bury Bad Bunny before. Okay. But now he's all white knighting Bad Bunny. But what do you agree with Dave Meltzer views that Bad Bunny is an ethnic celebrity and most people don't know him? So again, Dave is writing with the Super Bowl thing. Dave is writing like the worst dregs of society, commenting negatively about a foreigner. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Okay, but in 2021, Dave, you were saying that Bad Bunny was an ethnic celebrity, and Garrett, my co-host, is a quarter Mexican, and he doesn't know who Bad Bunny is, Bryan. Remember when Dave did that shit and said that shit? We covered it here on
the Bad Bunny reaction is going to be interesting too, because like he's a celebrity.
Listen to him coping. The Bad Bunny reaction is going to be interesting. He went to Puerto Rico, the greatest entrance of all fucking time. One of the greatest entrances in the history of all time. Chambea, the whole fucking building, whole shit. Whoa, shit's rocking. He comes out with that fucking shopping cart. When his music hits, dun, 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 the whole fucking crowd, everyone can't wait for Bad Bunny to come back. He respects WWE so much. He shows up to CMLL in a lucha mask, runs in the front quickly, runs out the back, gets in a car. Doesn't want anyone to see him. Dave's like, I mean, he's a celebrity, but I don't know if many Mexicans know who he is, Bryan. Patrick Mahomes, I think he's Mexican. Like, what the fuck, dude?
But he's a celebrity. He's a,
And then he writes all the worst dregs of society. They act like Puerto Rico. They're being racialist towards him, Bri. Rewind fucking 4 years. Dave's like, he's an ethnic celebrity. Whatever that means.
I mean, he's a celebrity to an audience and a giant celebrity to that audience, but most people don't know who he is, or they, some people might have seen him in the Grammys or whatever, but it's like,
those Grammys.
It's like, it's a different, he's an ethnic celebrity. He's a giant ethnic.
He's a giant ethnic celebrity,
but a lot of people at WrestleMania are not of that ethnicity. So,
oh my God. WWE, the most diverse crowds you'll ever see. The most diverse mix of people when you look into their crowds. And Dave has the audacity, man. Now granted, this was a few years ago, but
it's not like, I don't know. It's not like, a celebrity that is
he can't even name someone.
Big celebrity, but everyone in the culture knows. It's a completely different situation.
Everyone in what culture? The Aryan race, Dave? What are you talking about? The culture for my people. What are you talking about, bud? Like, what culture? The pro wrestling culture? You mean the guy who has Ric Flair in his music videos and has a song called Booker T that's in the 2K game and Booker T was in the music video? Do you mean
The best
that?
guys, Tony Khan.
Like, what are you talking about?
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Like, what are you talking about, Dave? I don't get it. Well, Bryan Alvarez, I think, is from Puerto Rico. Like, what are you talking about, man? And so Dave had this to say. When was this? In 2021. There is no. This is on his message board. We covered this way back, but it's good to bring these back up on the DMDMW official show. But Dave says there's no evidence of this, but that's the most obvious point that will go ignored. And Garrett, who is half Mexican, asking me if he's had an effect on ratings, and me explaining it in detail, and thus being racist to clowns who didn't listen to a word of it. So the most obvious point that will go ignored in Garrett, he meant to say is Garrett, who is half Mexican, asking me if he's had an effect on ratings. And whoa, dude, what the fuck does Mexican have to? This is the thing. This is why it's a joke. It comes from this post. And it's like, what does that have? Patrick Mahomes, Cuervo, or are you just an out of touch old bastard? Dave. Anyway, while he is a huge star, the point that this is not a transcendent Cyndi Lauper angle. Bro, he goes back. This is like Bryan. Luthez.
Brian.
What's going on? We're going back to fucking... in the caveman days, Bri. There was a guy named Sabretooth Stasiak who tapped out all the brontosaurus as far as the eye could see, Bri. It drew many pterodactyl in the key demo. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Fucking old boomers, old ass dinosaurs. Cyndi Lauper. Oh, man. Media certainly appears to be the case right now. Perhaps history will say differently and ratings will start shooting through the roof next week. And then Bad Bunny goes to Puerto Rico, but that's not Mexico, Phil. Chambea, aya. Fucking roof crumbles off to the fucking floor. Savio Vega comes out. Fucking place is erupting. You know what I mean, man? It's so fucking funny. It's so good, man. It's so good when that happens to Dave. But yeah, so this is what Dave had to say now. Now it's a big deal. He's not really known, but they are in Mexico. Phil Marks. So Bad Bunny was at a CMLL show. And here's Dave's take on it.
Should have mentioned, by the way, with the CMLL notes that Bad Bunny was there.
Last night.
Under a mask.
Last night. I mean, they're so popular. They're booming right now. My guy JJ's like, dude, they give away the tickets. And we looked at the video of Bad Bunny there, and all the top sections are empty. They're completely empty, and they own the arena, so the tickets are free. And that's why CMLL does so good and draws so well. They make money off the merchandise and the concessions and all that shit. And Dave is like, if you want to learn about growth and having big audiences, CMLL's the closest to WWE. That's what he says. And he tricks dumb fucks by saying shit like that who don't look into this stuff.
This was the only day he could go was last night's show. So he went to see Mr.
So now Dave, who said that Bad Bunny was a Puerto Rican quarter ethnic celebrity or whatever.
Liar!
Quarter ethnic Mexican guy from Puerto Rico, right? Who's only popular with in down there in Mexico. All of a sudden, he has the inside scoop, like he works in fucking Hollywood. So the only day he could go to see Mystico, who's obviously bigger than Roman Reigns, was this night.
He was wearing a Mystico mask. They had front row seats for him. And
like he's acting like that means anything. Yeah, they're all free seats. So if they weren't for him, they were for like some kid, some mom and her baby, and you know what I mean? Yeah, they're just free seats, dude. So It's not like people are paying 40 grand for front row at the Rumble and they got Cuervo sitting there, right, Dave?
And he came out with
he lies by omission with all of his coverage of CMLL. It's hilarious.
With his entourage. So they had this whole front row.
And he acts like it's not on camera. And listen to how he does this whole front row. Yeah, I mean, there was like 5 people with Bad Bunny, and the whole like front 2 rows were empty.
Or the undercard was completely empty. And then, so it's not like WWE where they just throw you in for the cameo and you're on TV and you're gone. I mean, this one.
He's pretending like Danielle Fishel's just on for the camera, then gone. And like, what's the other girl we've seen there? Selena Gomez, or what was it? Jennifer Hudson. I'm so bad with celebrity. Vanessa Hudgens or whatever the fuck. She sits there and watches the show. Tony Hinchcliffe and Pauly Shore, they're sitting there watching the show, dude. I don't know.
He came out.
Cuervo's there watching the show. Then he goes backstage to smoke blunts, and then he comes out with the Usos, dude. Okay.
And he watched
Cuervo. It's so fucked that we just call him Cuervo now.
It was Mosquera Dorada against I think it was Cavernario, and I know Mystico and Titan were in the main event.
Titan Bryan.
He watched those 2 matches and then he disappeared into the night. But I was told that he was going crazy watching those matches. He did not want to be seen. I don't know if like I don't know what WWE would think, but
he didn't want us to be seen because he's affiliated with WWE, and he knows what idiots like you do, and why now you're going to spin it. Oh, it was a big deal in his entourage, and it was so amazing for CMLL, even though a few years ago I said he wasn't shit.
In the building, people did know he was there, and they did, in fact, during the show, they never acknowledged him, but after the show, they did announce that, in fact, it was him under the Mystico mask in the front row. And he would not take any pictures with any of the talent or anything like that, talk to the press or anything. So I think that it's probably, I mean, I don't know. It could be just didn't want any pictures. It could be.
Oh my God, Dave, you know what it is. It's because he doesn't want the ick. He's trying to not get any on him from being associated with a WWE partnered whatever, but he's a huge, legit wrestling fan. Okay. And he actually cares about wrestling. And so he wanted to go see his match.
The idea that maybe he would piss off WWE. I don't know.
It's not about pissing them off. It's just called respect. Dave, something you don't know shit about.
No, I don't. I don't think he actually needs to worry about pissing off WWE. He's way above that level.
Oh, is he way above that level? But when he went to that level, WWE, you tried to say that he wasn't shit and people don't really know him and he won't get a reaction. But he's way above that little level. He's way above that. He's at the CMLL AEW level, Brian.
To where it really matters. But whatever it was, that's what happened. He was at the show, and yeah, and they, I guess those last 2 matches, I think they worked extra hard because he was out there in the front row.
Oh my God. So Dave, you just got pwned with that, let's be honest. And then Bryan Alvarez, we're going to end this here along Dave Meltzer dumb moment of the week, as they are, as they always are. Here's a trying Bryan who just gets smashed to a liar for being a goddamn liar. So Bryan Alvarez says right now the Saturday Night Main Event show has no runtime, which whatever. And then he's like, John Cena's opening the show with Gunther.
Right now, the Saturday Night's Main Event show is
and it's like, okay, we broke this down on PWT a bit. It's like, if he's opening the show, then why is there no runtime? If there is a runtime that's set in stone, like Goldberg, then I could see him opening the show, because then they want to give him as much time as he wants. Then you can tell all the other matches, you get 4 minutes, you get 10 minutes, you get what, right? But if there's no limit, then why the fuck would they open it so that Cena doesn't run out of time, right? It would obviously be the main event, and then there's no limit, and then they'll just give him as much time as he wants. Like, Bry's just, this is the thing. Dave and Bryan get told half truths. Like, they might get told something from someone in WWE. People say Terry Taylor's a stooge. Okay, cool. But they're Triple H and them aren't so fucking stupid that obviously he's there to tell them fake shit. So he might give them an anecdote about what Triple H said about something, but then he's telling them fake shit, and then it blows up in their faces. And it's the same thing with whoever Bry's source is, if it's not the same person or people. You know what I'm saying?
It has no runtime. It has a start time, but it has no end time. So basically, the show can pretty much go however long they want. This is not going to be like when they were on NBC and Goldberg's match, whatever happened there, and they had to get him in and out, and he was upset about it or whatever. They can basically go as long as they need to go. Probably will end up going like 2.5 hours. And at this moment, the opening match is scheduled to be John Cena versus Gunther.
See, like, what a dumb fuck. Like, how would he not know that he's... So whoever told him this told him, yeah, there's no limit. That's the truth. And then he goes, and then they're slated to open. And then Bry can just go, well, it changed. No, it didn't change, stupid. There's no limit because they're the main event. That's why. They're the fucking main event. And you don't want to cut John Cena off. Okay? If there was a limit, okay, they're the opener. Because it's not like Cena Gunther is going to go longer than an hour and a half or whatever the fuck. So they can't squeeze the last matches in, right? So it's the fact that they can get worked this easy. That's why you're doing 50% off fire sales on your dirt sheet. You guys stink. You can't even use common sense.
And John Cena is going to get as much time as he wants. So you're going to have long entrances. You're going to have the whole shebang. The match is going to go as long as he wants, because with John Cena, he basically calls his matches in the ring. And then when it's over, they're going to do whatever they do afterwards. And it'll probably take up the entire first hour of the Peacock show.
So then why would they need an hour to do the other 3 matches? It's WWE, stupid. So these guys are down so bad. Like, they're getting slapped around. They're getting told, like, that's why Dave's like, oh, he's like laughing about an anecdote that Triple H made backstage. It's like, okay, so you got told a story. Like, you were in the room. Who gives a fuck? But then the real shit that matters, he gets lied to about. And that's how they string Dave along and make him look stupid. That's why WWE's been ahead of the curve winning.
At which point they'll do the other 3 matches. And when the show ends, the show ends. So that is that's the plan for Saturday night's main event. Right?
And then fucking Bry just gets owned. They put this in print. So here's this is Shunak Chakrabarty, who says John Cena final match placement still in flux for WWE Night's main event. Recently, an update had emerged that Cena was set to open the show in Washington. However, according to our Bryan Alvarez on Thursday's show, Cena's match placement on the show is still in flux. It's still in flux. And then Bryan goes, they could open with anything they want on Saturday night. Now he's switching it up because he realized too late, oh, what I did is retarded, and now I'm fucking up, and now I got to fucking... I can't just say I was wrong and told wrong shit. Now I got to go, well, it's in flux, card subject to change. This is why wrestling dirt sheet journalism is just fucking corny, bro. With anything that they want on Saturday night. The day the show is going to come, someone may say, you know what? What are we doing? Let's put the John Cena match on last. Yeah, I bet that's what they'll do last minute, Bry. Fucking clown. All I can tell you is 100% the idea was 100% that John Cena. All I can tell you is that, trust me, bro. Honestly, man, trust me, man. Trust me. Oh, really, Bry? 100% the idea was 100% that he'd go on first. No, you just got lied to. You just got lied to. Okay? Oh, my friend of 20 years is lying to me? Yup. He's getting paid by WWE to do that. You guys are stooges. Now, whether it does, we'll find out the day of the show. There are a lot of arguments for and against. No, there's no arguments for or against. There's none. There's just what I laid out. And then John Cena comes in. He ends his career felting Bryan Alvarez and Dave Meltzer. John Cena ends his career in the best way possible. He might take an L to Gunther, but he went out with a W over Dave Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez. The fucking GOAT! The GOAT! The never seen 17, bro. Always hard 5 stars. John fucking Cena lays it out on Pat
Okay, and you're
McAfee. Shout out Pat McAfee show and ESPN and all that.
Okay, and you're going first tomorrow? I heard you said that.
That is Pizzagate, homie.
What?
What? Pizzagate? Whoa, you what?
You
Whoa. Pizzagate?
I was on Jimmy Kimmel. I said I'm ending the show. I said I normally go to bed early, but I'm going to have to stay up late for this one. I guess people didn't read between the tea leaves.
So there's Dave and Bryan. So before whoever lied to Dave and Bryan, and this is why they're lying. No, our source. No, Terry Taylor just got his information mixed up. No, he lied to you guys. He told you one true thing and then one not true thing. And then you guys look like idiots. Get it? This is how this game has been played. WWE's literally canned people for stooging in recent years. Okay. So trust me, any stooges coming from WWE, unless it's like some camera guy or like some guy working, whatever, like just some guy taking pictures or whatever the fuck. Maybe some new writer got hired on and he doesn't know how it works yet. Sure. Maybe there's guys like that. I don't think they're running to Dave, but like, sure, maybe there's some lowly guys like that who are stooging some shit, like thinking they're telling the truth to some of these sheets. But otherwise, these sources are trained on how to trick these fucking dirt sheets. I'm telling you, motherfuckers, that's how WWE's got it down now. They've got it down like that. So John Cena flat out said on Kimmel, like, I'm ending the show. And then after Bryan and Dave run with this shit, and then they bring it to Bryan's attention, and he's like, oh, well, this thing I said super confidently. And then all they do, whoever's stooging, just goes, oh, yeah, I'm fucking, I just got mistake card subject to change the night of. I mean, what I was told, it just makes them look stupid. Their whole initiative has been make them look stupid. It's like when Fightful got the basket of cheeses or whatever. Like, why do you think they sent you cheese, bro? They're literally taking the piss and having a laugh at all these sheets, man.
Leaves like we're last.
Okay,
we're last, dude. He called you Pizzagate, Dave. And this is, it's so funny because I always say it. It's always conspiracies and puzzle piecing shit that doesn't even fit together. And gay frogs and all this shit with Dave. Like, nope, you just got Pizzagated, homie. And that's why we will forever clown you, Dave. And that's why the show exists. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
Guys, thank you all for being here. Use the link below and get NordVPN, PWT, NordVPN. We have aligned, folks, and 75% off their 3-year deal. Plus, they throw 3 months extra in, 30-day money-back guarantee if you don't like that shit. NordVPN, there's a link down below. Click that link. It'll take you right to here. Get Canadian Netflix and YouTube. Fuck ESPN Plus and this and that. $3.79 a month. That's like $5 Canadian, okay? Or $5 American, pardon me. $3.79 Canadian. No. Wait, that's less than that because our money's shittier than yours. So I lied. See, it's even cheaper. It's like $2 American, $2.50 American, something like that. Okay, and you can get Canadian Netflix and YouTube and fucking watch all of WWE. And then when Netflix buys WBD, you can watch AEW on Netflix too. But I'm dead serious. It beats the fuck out of all these ESPN deals and all the shit. And I want to thank the PWT universe because Nord came to your boy Phil. And I had thrown that. I was like, I use NordVPN. It would be awesome if they sponsor me or something like that. And although we're affiliated, they don't sponsor, but they're not paying for this read. But if you use that link below, you directly support PWT and you support your goddamn security online and your wallet, man. You'll save money watching all this wrestling. It's all on Canadian Netflix and YouTube. Get a goddamn VPN. Use the link below. Holiday deal. It's like $2 American a month, and they throw in 3 extra months. Okay, 75% off. Ho, 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 bitches. Thank you guys for being here. $80 for 27 months. That's fucking crazy. Me, before I ever had an affiliation with Nord, I just bought the 3-year thing. You guys know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I'm over here now. And yeah, so thank you, PWT Universe. Round of applause for you all. You guys are the real goats over here. And that was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. I'll see you guys for Sicko.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
Okay,
we
hold
know
on.
they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I
numbers for an
continue
afternoon.
this before you cut me off? We know
go ahead.
one thing.
Yes.
We know it
No, I'm not
might have done well because it
I'm
went
not-
on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.